Hello, YouTube.
Like, subscribe, comment. This is part 1 of the post-season exit interviews.
We got Big T, we got Big Ev, we got other big people.
Brandon yelled a lot.
That's fine. Watch, enjoy. You
Very
see,
nice
I have
voice.
a new best friend.
No.
Clummer?
Oh, you maybe you don't know. Guess who was in who slid in my DMs this week?
Rochelle Ryan.
No.
I saw you completely lose track of everything going on in your brain when she walked by.
I mean, I don't know why that's surprising. Somebody walks in dressed like that, you're not distracted?
Oh, she's hot.
So, Lane Kiffin slid in my DMs.
What did he say?
So,
And he's your best friend now?
he and I are best friends. Yes,
Okay.
we're secret
All
best.
right.
We're secret best
I
friends.
knew that was going to happen.
We're secret best friends.
And I don't mind it either.
We're secret best friends.
Sellout.
We're like Capulets and Montagues. We can't tell our parents, but we're secret best
But
friends.
you're just telling the...
Well, these are
100,000
like our
people
No,
that
these
listen.
Oh, they're
are
not
our
going to say
people.
anything.
These are our people.
Yeah. So I
Definitely
I
won't
had
say anything.
I had a video the other day because listen, people think Brandon Walker hates. No, Brandon Walker tells the truth at all times. Sometimes you think that's hate if it's against your team. Sometimes you think it's funny if it's against another team. Like Florida fans, for example, love me when I shit on Tennessee or Georgia. They love me, but when I say Billy Napier's the wrong guy, all of a sudden I'm a redneck illiterate from Mississippi and they hate me. But
Just don't make fun of their socks.
I tell the truth at all times. So last week when Lane Kiffin landed Walker Howard from LSU and then
Spencer Sanders?
Whistle Dick. Yeah, Spencer Sanders from Oklahoma State.
What'd Spencer Sanders do to you?
So when he landed those two quarterbacks, I was like, wow, that's quite a haul. I'm going to say it. And I said, hey, you got to give the man credit. He went out and got two good quarterbacks. Jackson Dart can probably go F himself, but whatever. Mm-hmm. Good haul by Lane Kiffin. And Lane Kiffin tweeted the video, or at me, and did a crying emoji, laughing. Mm-hmm. And
DM'd, not tweeted, right?
DM.
Well, yeah, because you swore in the video, so he probably can't retweet that.
Well, I'm going to swear a lot.
I know.
That's just what I do.
Your mouth gets you in trouble. I have a question for you about that video.
Yeah.
When you're ranking your hate, which I know you don't hate Lane Kiffin, you've never said you've hated Lane Kiffin.
Right. I would love to hate Lane Kiffin.
Because of what he coaches.
He's likable, and I respect him. But it's like guys like Hugh Freeze that came through there. He was easy to hate because he's a piece of shit human.
So that's where my question is about that video, because I was having this very conversation. Yeah. You hate Ole Miss because you're a Mississippi State fan.
I hate Ole Miss.
Does your hate for Hugh Freeze as a human supersede Ole Miss right now because Lane Kiffin is the coach?
There are two different rankings.
Okay.
The human beings I don't like and
Yes.
the institutions I don't like.
Correct.
The institution of Ole Miss will always rise above any human being. So,
but it's easy to make fun of Hugh Freeze.
Easy to make fun of Hugh Freeze because, again, he's a bad person.
But it's harder to make fun of Ole Miss because you like...
No, I will still make fun of Ole Miss. I feel bad for Lane Kiffin. He tried to get out of there 2 years in a row. I feel bad that he's stuck there. I feel bad that he has to deal with those people. But he is a likable and respectable guy.
All right, so the next level of this question.
Yeah.
You also hate Auburn.
I do.
So taking the consideration of the human and the program into consideration. Mm-hmm. I just said consideration 3 times.
Sure.
Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin.
Right.
Greater than hate or less than hate Auburn with
I need you to understand something. Ole Miss could hire my mother.
And you would hate them more.
And I would still hate them more than any combination of
Fair.
Alabama and Satan. I still hate Ole Miss more.
Wow.
But then in the video, you were making fun of Hugh Freeze more than Ole Miss.
No, I just said it's funny that he kept him away from Hugh Freeze.
Okay. All right. I'm glad we cleared that up.
Should I do a full hate rankings one day?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Be a great video.
And Katie and Jack and Noah would be very thankful for that.
Be a long list.
And that would be probably 75 social clips in there. That would be amazing.
Yeah. And you also, while you're doing it, you should tier how you're hating them. Because
you have your tier list. Do the whole tier list thing.
I do love those tier lists.
By the way, the clip you did yesterday of the thing where we were talking about Peyton the casuals.
Yeah. Oh,
that guy, great guy, just has a cult behind him.
That cult?
It's a cult. He makes Dabo.
Ranking of cults. That's another video.
He's got a cult. And I texted him. I said, "You have a cult."
Also, in the video, you go, "I love Josh Pate. He does a great thing over there." I texted him about it, but I just don't like that he introduced the word. And then it was immediately, Josh Pate could do a show without saying any words and in the middle of Ukraine in a war, and it would be better than anything Barstool's ever produced.
Yes. He
has
a cult.
That's not what Josh is saying. That's what his fans
He has
saying.
a cult, yeah.
Also, I mean, good for him. Having a cult like that's a good thing.
I don't think I'd want a cult.
You have a cult. What are you talking about?
You wouldn't like me with a cult.
You have one.
Who's my cult? I don't have a cult.
Strulies.
There's not people that would die for Brandon Walker.
Yes, there are. There are also people that you could say the dumbest shit on the planet.
There's not a Brandon Walker cult.
Either.
I'm not Kirk Minahan. He has a cult. I do not have a cult.
You do.
I have people that recognize incredible takes and great college football wisdom.
I would also just point out that in general, Barstool is a cult, and you have a subset of said cult that is Brandon Walker's cult.
I don't have a cult. Not a cult guy.
You do have a cult. You also would love to have one if you didn't.
Well, I've been involved in a number of cults, both as a leader and a follower. You make more money as a leader, but you have more fun as a follower.
I don't think you have more fun.
Well, that was from The Office. Creed Bratton said that.
Fuck.
And
That's my bad.
And I think I reversed it. I think I said it in the wrong order. Y'all want to do a show?
Yes.
You're still pregnant. Where's that baby coming?
2 weeks.
Soon.
I was asking her.
Yeah, he
The
knows.
one that has
soon.
the baby inside of her right now.
Well, we all know the date because you pay attention.
I also know the date.
Also, people guess the name of the am I the only one who already knows it?
No, so
you say it.
I
Yeah.
say it. No, so what I've been told on the baby pool thing is that people didn't want to dox the baby. I'm like, but everybody in the office already knows.
Also, I feel like you've even put it up on Instagram.
I have not.
Doxing
Close
the baby.
friends.
Close friends. Okay.
Close friends.
I wasn't gonna say the name.
Stu made a video for me.
It's a great name, at least in my opinion.
Thank you. I think it's a very strong name.
Especially for
I will say
we revealed the gender
it's
for a male.
he's a boy. The only thing I'll say, Smith is his middle name. So his initials went out. RSG.
Cool.
Those initials went out.
All right.
But I will say, I could have a baby on this very podcast.
No, you won't.
Great for numbers.
It's
Views.
less than 3 weeks. I'm giving it 2.
Noah, are you fully authorized to deliver a baby?
Why are you asking him?
He's the producer.
Cool.
It'd be his job. Wouldn't be my job.
I'm leaving if she's.
I'd also
Personnel.
like it on record that I will be leaving if I start going into labor.
Well, that's a good idea.
It's
At
still
home
wise.
birth you're doing
It's still wise of us to have somebody who's medically
Water-
cleared to
water birth.
deliver a baby.
water birth inside Stu Finer's hot tub.
I'd like it on record. I will be doing a normal birth with all the drugs that I can legally be given by a trained professional.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
I was joking about the natural. Well, if you do that, that's your good luck.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Hello. Did I say hello without the H?
Yep.
Yeah, you did.
Why?
Have a British accent.
Yeah. Hello. I don't do a good British accent. Can you do a British accent?
If I'm
Hello, governor.
maybe.
Well,
I feel like you need to hear it to be able to imitate it.
Yeah, if you're around people
Hello,
enough,
governor.
you can definitely morph into
I'm
it.
in London town. No.
Stop.
that's-
Just stop.
Hello, governor. I have to say
Okay.
governor for some reason. Forever.
Governor. You can't. There's you don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
Flip-flop.
Welcome to Unnecessary. I can't.
Don't do it. Stop.
Unnecessary Roughness, Barstool's college football podcast, brought to you by High Noon Hard Seltzer. Whether you're in England or America, High Noon is the best. I'm sure. I don't know if they have them in England, but if they do, you need to try them. They're probably delicious over there across the pond. I'm looking at the variety pack with 2 watermelon, 2 black cherry, 2 grapefruit, 2 pineapple. The tailgate pack is out there. There's a tropical pack.
A pool pack.
There's a pool pack. There's just all their packs just have names that are pleasing. Tailgate pack, that sounds fun. Tropical pack sounds fun. Variety pack, that doesn't sound as fun. But still,
Yeah,
the pool
everyone
pack,
likes variety.
yeah. why
Also,
not?
I mean, just the 4 packs that they have of just one flavor, like
Yes.
the peach pack,
Get you a peach pack or a lime pack.
lemon
or a-
pack. Lemon is rare.
Is it?
I think
I still
so.
haven't seen it in the wild.
Jack had one at the office the other day. I think.
Lemon?
Yeah, you had lemon, right?
I've had lemon a bunch.
Yeah,
It's
lemon's
great.
lemon's very good.
People, people refer to it as another lemon seltzer drink that's very popular.
Did you guys know that High Noon is made with real juice and real vodka for real people like you and me?
Did you also know that it was the #1 vodka spirit sold last year?
I'm sure it was. This should be the #1 spirit all the way around because it
Took
is.
over?
Yeah, very, very, very popular vodka brand
Texas.
from Texas, which I will not say on this podcast.
which
Which has
Don't
been
everybody
around
knows.
much longer.
Yes.
And it's also the best vodka.
Yes, it's good.
But
I
High
know-
Noon, real vodka, real juice.
For real people like you and me. High Noon, check it out. Go to your liquor store, get some.
Stay tuned for the new flavors.
Go to your bar,
Coming
get some.
soon.
Get some. Get some.
It's snowing outside. If you
Is it?
some places.
I haven't been able to look outside in a while.
It's raining. What happened?
Tottenham score?
Yeah.
I've seen people after they've been skiing or snowboarding enjoying them in a hot tub recently.
Oh.
I'm very jealous of that.
I've never been skiing or snowboarding.
That does not surprise me one bit.
That's racist.
Overrated too.
Oh, it's not.
I haven't done it.
I will. You know what
years.
is overrated though, Jack?
There's a woman upstairs who works for us that tore her ACL skiing.
Yeah, no, you can definitely get
You
very
can get hurt
injured.
doing anything.
You can, but I
Yeah,
will-
but that's you get hurt
I skied
more
off a
like
cliff during it. I haven't been back since.
also
What?
dangerous.
I was like supposed to do 180 hairpin turn and went too fast.
Okay.
And did a
Well,
90
she
degrees.
skied a lot if she was even trying to do
I don't
that.
even know what the,
Up.
Yeah, I'm on the bunny hills.
I will ski. I cannot ski, and every time I say I like to snowboard better, people are like, oh, you're try hard. I can't ski because like the fact that the skis can go opposite ways of each other. Is
I
just
can't
not good.
snowboard. I tried to do a lesson. I spent more time on my butt than in the air.
I've water skied.
Water skiing is also very hard. Jack, I will agree with you that it's overrated to be like out all day, every day, snowboarding or skiing. The people that can do that are crazy. Like I like to go a few runs, go sit at the bar for a little bit, go sit by a fireplace, enjoy the activity without doing it all fucking day.
You almost got a lot of money. I feel like skiing is something that rich people do.
It's definitely an expensive hobby.
It's also, you also feel that way too because where you grew up, you had to actually travel to go do it. If you're around mountains, it's much cheaper to do.
Like in the
obviously.
Northeast this year, can you even go snow skiing? Because there hasn't been any snow.
There's not been any snow in New York City. There's been snow everywhere else.
There's been snow in Pennsylvania?
Yes.
In upstate
Yes.
New York and like Wyndham, Hudson Valley, but it's just not. It's not great.
It isn't.
It gets
It's
packed
not
down.
been snowing the way that it should. Although, I will say, sorry, Katie, for your Bills, but that Bills game was beautiful with the snow. Joe Burrow.
Informer.
Oh, you know what I wanted to talk
That's what
to you
snow's saying.
about,
What?
Brandon, is LSU fans. You can't just claim a team because two players from your former school went there. It's not just
Every
Megan.
every LSU fan is a Bengals fan now. They call them the Bayou Bengals. It is just it's two players.
It's two players.
So I get the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Because I got
Yes.
two players. I got Fletcher Cox and Darius Slay, so I get
Yeah.
the Eagles.
Well, then it's like, did you see the discussion
You
yesterday
don't want
about?
Dak? You don't want the Cowboys?
Also, I got the Chiefs because I got Willie Gay and Chris Jones.
What about Dak?
I didn't watch that game.
I do want to
You
ask
do-
though. Are you okay with Alabama and Oklahoma fans
No.
claiming Jalen Hurts?
Alabama
No.
cannot claim Jalen Hurts.
I'm with you. They made a decision,
yeah.
and it was not him.
They decided Tua as their quarterback, and they let Jalen Hurts go. He went to Oklahoma. He belongs to Oklahoma.
He
Sorry.
belongs to Oklahoma. The only thing that I can say is that they did win an SEC championship with Jalen.
Yeah, I know you. I heard you saying that out there, but Alabama's going to win a championship with or without
Yes,
him. I'm not
but
really.
it's not.
They won an
some-
SEC championship and national championship with Jacob Coker. Why aren't they twerking for Jacob Coker selling insurance?
That is actually a very good point.
What?
I'm not.
Twerking? Who's twerking for anything?
No, it's like a term that the English British use when they're saying like LSU fans are twerking for the Bengals.
Yeah.
I do think that they have a little bit more of a right to claim just because they did win with him. Ohio State fans claiming Joe Burrow is what's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's stupid.
wild.
Here's the thing, and
If
why
they are.
I think LSU fans are a little overboard on the Bengals thing. They're all Saints fans. They have an NFL team in New Orleans. They have an NFL team. They are Saints fans. Almost, I wouldn't say it's 100% because I bet you got some Saints some LSU Cowboys
I've seen a lot
fans.
of LSU
Oh,
Cowboys.
Yeah, you see a lot of those, but I would say it's 75% of the people that claim a college team and a pro team in the state of Louisiana are Saints Tigers.
See, here's where I'm curious with the line, and I know we're going to bring in somebody who's doing it in college, but there is a line with college to professional that I think you have to like tread lightly with because being a full-blown Bengals fan, that is, yeah, especially if they're Saints fans, that's fine. But there is an element of like when Von Miller went to the Broncos, I started paying more attention to the Broncos.
That
than I
makes
would.
sense.
I really don't. I don't care as much because I was rooting for Dak Prescott yesterday to win with the Cowboys.
No, but they say like there's a shirt on our store from Mincy because we all know Mincy's number one team is LSU.
Correct.
He sells a shirt that says Bayou Bengals.
Oh, yeah, no,
Jamar
that's- you can't
Chase
do that. Yeah,
and
you can't do that.
and then he told him, "Ah man, like I'm really laying into this Bengals stuff this year, man." because he was like
Yeah,
because
that's-
of Joe Burrow and Jamar
your
Chase.
Mincy impression sounded painful.
Well, I have a little bit of a sore throat. That's why I'm usually pretty good at my Mincy impression.
Speaking of, just really quick before we get to the part of the show that we're trying to get to, did he ever explain his sunrise video?
Who cares?
You know
I
what?
honestly, you know what? I care.
Okay.
Or the copying Brandon's video word for word.
That part, I like. That's whatever. You guys have your own thing.
He's not in my life anymore, and it makes me happy.
But
So
I saw you and Dan talking about it on the Yak, and I mean, I had already seen the said video. I just need to know what his excuse was.
I don't think he ever gave an excuse. So I
Did
just
he
know
ignore it?
he staged a sunrise video.
Because Josh Pate talked about it too, and he was like, "We can have the same opinion. Like it's not."
Not that one. Not that one.
No.
She's talking about the sunrise.
Oh.
Him saying that it was
yeah,
sunrise at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
He tweeted out 4:30 in the morning, like, "Oh man, it's so great to be.
It's gonna be a great
Yeah.
day
It's gonna be
here.
a great day. Like, look at that sunrise. Like, the sun right now in Texas rises at like 7 in the morning.
I also like how I think the conversation of Pick Central is like, do we think he scheduled that or woke up? Like
I think he woke up to do
Yeah.
it.
But-
But if he woke up, wouldn't it have been dark outside?
He doesn't know how to schedule.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
But
Did you know that I know how to schedule?
W.
you do?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
I have to use TweetDeck to do it. Is there another way?
Yeah, just on
You
desktop
can
on
do it-
Twitter.
You can do it on yep.
But he still has not given a reason.
We've talked too much about him already.
Okay, fair.
So
Fine.
That was my fault.
today
No, but
is
you know what? It was a legitimate thing, Joe.
we're going to get to news at the end of the show because I want to make sure we have room. And Katie will be dipping out for a second. Well, not for a second, but we'll need her share for this. Whatever. Anyway,
You don't have to over.
it's exit interviews day. It is exit interviews day. Meaning, at the very beginning of the season, we took the college football fanatics from Barstool Sports, brought them in here one by one, had them give us their takes, their predictions, their hopes, their dreams, everything. And we are bringing them back today one by one. We'll have Big T in here. We'll have Big Ev. We'll have TCU fan. We're going to have about 6 or 7 guys get in here and go over what happened. We're going to limit it to about 5 minutes apiece, hopefully.
We say that every time. I think it also depends on how mad they make you in the process.
We'll see. Before we get to that, tell me about something.
You want me to tell you about something Arch Manning needs?
Can we talk about that idiot before we get to this ad?
Sure.
Did you see the thing he put out on the internet where he said, I've been in Austin, Texas.
I think that's fake.
You think it's fake?
So, one person responded to it saying
Can you
it was
pull that up
fake.
or something? So he said, I've been in Austin,
I've seen
Texas, like 5 minutes, and I'm already saying y'all and fixin' to. This motherfucker's from New Orleans, Louisiana. His grandfather played at Ole Miss. He's more Southern than anybody in the world. How has he never said y'all and fixin' to?
Also, I don't think that many people in Austin are saying fixin' to. Y'all, I would agree with, but I mean, it's not like Austin
Y'all
is
is-
some
yeah.
bumfucks like.
Austin-
I've never heard fixin' twos as a northern. I don't
So
know what that means.
almost the biggest fight I ever
He
got.
did. He did put out. I don't even know what LinkedIn is. That's a fake account.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean,
Can I just
the
say
bigger
something
thing is
real
him
quick?
being on LinkedIn would have been wild.
Fixin' to.
Yeah.
I used to work at the airport there at GTR, and I was behind the desk. People come in and check in for their flight. This northern guy, this dickhead from New Jersey or New York, came around the corner. He's like, when's the flight going out? I'm like, we're fixing to board it right now. And he said, fixing to? What does that mean? I said, we're fixing to board it. He said, I don't know what that means. And I'm like, that means we're about to board the damn plane. And we
Use
Damn.
use some context
that
clues.
stuck with you.
it did.
Well, I mean, it's
It
pretty
did.
easy.
And then
It's pretty easy to say.
2 decades later, you were living in New Jersey.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's just a moron because even if he'd never heard of it,
Yeah.
you can put context clues together.
And
We are
I
about
don't
to
even
board.
say fixing to. What I'll say is like fissna or finna.
Finna to?
I'm fissing to go do that.
F-I-N-N-A?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
you do say that. Yeah,
fissing to go do that. And that
So
doesn't.
you added an X there.
Yeah, I'm fissing to go do that. Or
It
sometimes.
says it every
Yeah,
time.
no, listen.
It's the charm.
First of all,
Charm.
the bigger thing was that Arch Manning is not on LinkedIn. That was the number one clue to me.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
no-
should have known. Why would Arch
no.
Manning be on LinkedIn?
Why would any
He's in high school still.
Well, also, why would
Well,
any
Oh, he's in
No,
Austin, I
no,
guess,
yeah.
now. But
why would any
He keeps-
athlete be on LinkedIn? I mean, are you on LinkedIn?
God, no.
I mean, I don't feel like
If you ever see Brandon Walker on LinkedIn, it is a fake account.
There was somebody
Sorry,
in
somebody's gonna
Nigeria
start
who
one.
created an account on LinkedIn and his title now is Barber at Barstool
Yeah.
Sports. And he asked everybody to be LinkedIn connections. He's according to his profile from Nigeria.
and he's
Okay.
our barber.
All right.
So Arch Manning, he's been going viral
Yep.
for losing his student ID.
You know what he needs?
You know what would not lose a student ID?
An ultra slim minimalist wallet?
From Ridge.
Yes,
the
please.
Ridge wallet. It holds up to 12 cards plus room for cash. As we know, all the styles, all the colors, the names of the styles are fantastic.
But
There's over
Casey,
30 of them.
Would Arch have an incredibly good looking wallet with an awesome unique design?
He would. He can choose from 30 different ones.
Yes.
But you know what? Even further, even if he had his student ID in there, nobody could scan it from the outside. Nobody could try to steal his student ID identity because it's made with RFID blocking technology, and it protects you from digital pickpocketers. There's a lot of them out there.
And they are, especially in Austin, Texas, they are all over the place.
Well, allegedly. You have to put allegedly. We don't know that for a fact.
And then they're pickpocketing that student ID and taking a photo.
Yep.
And putting it online and bragging on you.
But what about his keys, Casey?
Well, he can get the new key case. At this point, it's not new, but it says new on this page, so I read it. It secures anywhere from 2 to 6 keys. It's in a compact silhouette, fold out for easy access. There are also 6 colors and styles of that one, Brandon, you can get. As we've seen on the website as well, they have other things too. They've got the bundles. We saw some watches at one point. Ridge is not just a wallet, but the Ridge wallet is the best. Go to ridge.com/UR and use the code UR for 10% off your order. Jackie pointed out last week there's a holiday coming up.
Valentine's Day, also known as my birthday.
Valentine's Day is also
I should have
Jack's
said my
birthday,
birthday, also known as Valentine's Day.
which also could be
your son's
my
birthday?
son's birthday. I could share with Jack.
No, I wouldn't hate that.
By the way, you're going to be miserable if that kid's birthday is the 14th.
My mom wasn't
I'm
miserable.
already miserable, so yes. I mean,
if that's after her due date.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yes, that's what I
that
mean.
makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's not the fact that it would be the day. It would be the fact that I would still be pregnant at that point. Go to ridge.com/UR. Use code UR for 10% off your order. Whenever you guys were younger or in college or whatever, did you guys ever celebrate March 14th?
Pi Day?
Pi Day.
No.
That is Pi Day. 314.
See, I feel like this might have just been like a thing. I thought it was like it's like the man's Valentine's Day. Have you guys never heard this?
No.
Also known as Steak and BJ Day.
Oh,
I think you got tricked by
familiar.
some very enterprising young men.
No, that was like a whole thing. That was.
Did somebody convince you it was Steak and BJ Day?
No. It was like a thing that we knew in college. It was like Valentine's Day is for the girls, and March 14th is Steak and BJ Day.
That's called Monday night
This is
for
the third
Jeff
straight
to
guy
do.
that's asked me out for March 14th.
No, I mean it wasn't like you got asked out for it. It was just like
I actually have a girl I hit up every March 14th.
You know what? Now that you think about it, that is a thing. Every March 14th is Steak and BJ Day.
Yep.
Steak and BJ Day is a thing.
I the only
all
one
across
who's
the
ever heard
country,
of it?
ladies, and everybody should celebrate Steak
I'm
and
gonna,
BJ Day.
I'm gonna Google this right now, and if it just doesn't exist, I am gonna say that some genius when I was in college in Texas made it up.
Some fucking hero.
Also,
I mean,
should be Steak and BJ Day should be every night for these men that are risking their lives every day.
Steak and BJ Day.
Oh, bad news.
Yes.
It's a thing.
Yeah, Wikipedia.
No, I've seen it.
Listen, all I said was March 14th holiday, and the first thing that comes up, Steak and Blowjob
That should
Day.
be Pi Day. 314.
I'm good with Steak and Blowjob Day.
That is true.
It says it's satirical. Oh, it's also known as... Look at what it's also known as.
Steak and Knobber Day?
Knobber.
Is that British?
My birthday's the 13th.
It's created in the United States as the
February?
male response to
March.
Valentine's Day
Oh.
and celebrated a
before.
month later. On that day, women are supposed to cook a filet steak and perform fellatio on a man in response to cards, chocolate, flowers, and other gifts given by men on
Women
Valentine's
don't
Day.
know how to
Barstool's
make a steak anymore.
Yeah, I would rather,
We're losing
make my own
recipes.
steak.
Observed by, these are the countries or continents, North America, Europe, Australia, and New Zealand.
We're losing recipes.
All right.
Cake and Cunnilingus Day is also a day.
What is that?
That's not
That's
as good.
April 14th.
That's not as good. That's the day after my birthday.
So that's April 14th is the female response to Steak and Blowjob.
Wait,
Day.
wasn't Steak and Blowjob Day
I've never
a
heard
response
of
to...
Nah, we getting blowjobs on Valentine's
What
Day,
are we
bro.
doing? What are
We
we
getting
doing May
both.
14th. May 14th will just
May
be
14th is Shut Up Day.
fishing and shut the fuck up day.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways, so that was just a walk down the calendar.
So, Katie, if you'll go get Big Ev, I think we'll start with him.
Yes.
You
think he celebrates March 14th?
Yes.
It is Steak and PJ Day. So she's going to bring in Big Ev, and he'll start us off.
And I don't know if Big Ev was on this show giving a prediction.
I'm almost certain he was.
was.
Yeah.
He was?
He said there was going to be 3.
Oh, yes. Remember? 3 Ohio State people in the Heisman.
Ohio State Heisman.
So-
Oh, no, 8, actually 4.
So we've moved Jack over here.
Look how big I am.
Look how big he looks. Oh, my God.
I look like I can dunk. I look like I can dunk.
You look gigantic. You look like
Jack, you look,
Paul White.
you look like you're photoshopped into
Good
a
Lord.
What's happening?
So the reason we moved Jack over to the big chair is we need this. We got some big boys coming in. Some big boys.
What? I mean,
Imagine what Big T would look like in that chair. It'd be off the screen.
I can't get over how big
my
Jack
God.
looks. Katie, look how big Jack looks.
I was one sitting there.
But
I
you
know,
don't look
but
that big.
Over here, Big
Big
F.
Ev, hello. I'm so distracted by the way Jack looks on the screen. I can't.
So, joining us now, my good friend Big Ev
Hello, Big
from
Ev.
Spinning Back Fist and all your gambling streams and Pick Central, our resident Ohio State fan.
Some would say the biggest Ohio State fan ever.
Some would say. Well, depending on what they mean. But anyway, Big
Oh,
Ev.
that was unnecessary.
It's not Buckeye or Buckeye nut, whatever.
Big Ev.
He's pretty big too physically.
You came and sat on this show, and you said this year. Do you remember what your boldest prediction was?
I do.
Oh, I do this.
What was your boldest prediction?
That the Heisman finalists would be only Ohio State
No,
Buckeyes.
you
That
said
was our
three.
right prediction.
You said
That was.
or three.
you said three of the 4 or 5 would
No,
be
I actually
Ohio
think he
State
said 4.
Buckeyes.
All of them.
He said 3, potentially 4.
I said Paris Johnson might get invited
Yeah,
as well.
Oh, that's right. So
Who
you
is
had
going to go top 10 in the draft?
Yeah,
by
that
the
is-
way.
you had Stroud, Trevion Henderson,
Jason.
and Njigba, right? Smith and Njigba.
Yeah, or Marvin Harrison.
But at the time,
I
At
said
the time, it
I
was
said
Smith and
Jason.
Njigba.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you said Paris Johnson could get in there too.
Yeah.
I forgot that you did that, Ev, until right now.
So Big Ev,
He was.
that didn't happen.
One of them made it.
One of them
one.
made it. One of them made it. But looking back, Ohio State goes 11-1 with an ass-kicking loss to Michigan, and then
Sort of.
almost.
Hold on.
Sort of.
You always say it's not
I
an
was
ass
set.
kick.
I was. I've told him many times.
Okay,
It wasn't an
alright.
ass kicking.
It
I'm
was.
using it to set up the next. It wasn't.
It was.
That was not an ass kicking.
It was.
That was a close game.
I've never seen a one-score game with 6 minutes left be called an ass kicking.
That was a close game that masqueraded as a blowout.
I apologize for stopping your question. Go ahead.
Anyway, you went 11-1, lost to Michigan,
What the fuck?
but you were then given a second chance to get in the playoff. You got in and nearly beat Georgia, which means you very nearly won the national championship. How do you feel today?
horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. There's no Ohio State doesn't have moral victories.
No.
There's not like a moral win because we almost beat the national championship team when they won by 1,000 points. We probably were the second best team, but second best is first loser. I don't
Yeah.
take any pride in it. Like Ohio State, you either win a natty or it was a bad season. Now, I have respect for the players that they played their hearts out. It's not like a personal slight on them. Just at Ohio State, it's championship or bust.
I
It's
respect
just,
that.
That's just what it is.
If Ohio State had beaten Georgia that night, if that field goal is good, what happens in the national title game?
I don't think we beat TCU the way Georgia did.
You could have though.
I think you beat them
But
pretty
you-
fucking.
I don't
good.
think
Yeah, but you
I'm
know
not.
what? That's
I'm not gonna.
respectable that he's
I'm not
saying
gonna
that.
disrespect TCU and say we would have just went in there and just rolled them.
Would
like
you
that.
won the national title?
I think we would have won the game for
Yeah.
sure.
You would have won by 30 points.
I think we would have won like decently. I think like double digits.
Can you explain to me the fourth quarter and the second half against Michigan? Because it boggles my mind that happened.
I wish I could. Like I wish there was like a rational. It's weird because like more. I mean, the game was won. They won the game off all their touchdowns besides the one drive, and like I think it was like the third quarter. They just broke big touchdowns.
Yeah.
We had the missed tackle led to a big touchdown. We had we had a receiver slip led to a big touchdown. Like bad coverage. Then we just obviously the very end of the game we have the two like 80-yard runs that I don't know what happened. They just busted a seam and that was it.
Assign a letter grade to this year's Ohio State football season.
See, like us, like I don't really do like we don't do A, B, C, D. We do pass fail. That's national title or bust. So fail.
I feel like you're saying that just try to make your program sound better.
But we're on that level, no? In what world does Ohio State not win national title and be like,
Yeah.
good season, guys? Like, in
'cause
what
you've been
planet
there.
does that happen?
Yeah, you've been there.
Fair enough.
And like I said, it's not a slight on the players. Like guys like
I will
Stroud,
say
like,
this.
they played their balls off for this team in the university.
I will
but
say this: the showing you put up against Georgia did put a better bow on the season than getting beat by 30 would have.
no, that's true. That's
Like,
correct.
if you ended your season getting blown out by Michigan in that fourth quarter and then getting blown out by Georgia, then you're like, this is a complete total failure. As it is, Marvin Harrison doesn't get hurt in the back of the end zone. Who knows what happens?
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Like I don't. Some also could argue that'd be a targeting. I wasn't one of them, but
I don't think that was targeting.
it was close. I didn't harp on it even in the moment. I didn't really harp on that. I thought it was more just in that drive that we had to settle for the field goal. I've talked about it a bunch in the shows after. I literally said it to my dad on the couch in the moment that it felt huge. I literally tweeted when the fourth quarter started, we might need to score it twice, 2 touchdowns to win this game. Because I knew they were going to make a charge. They obviously come right down. Our quarterback slips. They score 80-yard touchdown almost immediately. That flipped the game on its head completely right there.
I know you're saying it's pass-fail, which does make sense from an Ohio State fan's perspective. I will say, as somebody who did just absolutely bury Ohio State after the Michigan game, that the way you guys played in the semifinals made me absolutely walk that point back. Because had you guys gone in and got destroyed by Georgia, I mean, like, they shouldn't have been in the college football playoffs. Like, they shouldn't have been there. They got killed by Michigan. We didn't need to put them at that 4th spot. That game was so good. And it wasn't some fluky game. That game was just two really, really good teams battling it out. As somebody from the outside looking in, it's like I respected Ohio State way more than I did going into it.
I never wavered. Even when Michigan beat you by 23, I never wavered.
No, you didn't, Brandon.
I said, this is the second best team in the country, and they're going to give Georgia problems. And I said that, and I was right.
And, I mean, it just truly – I do believe it showed as well just how elite Stroud is. Because that was something that annoyed me, too, that I feel like the last 2 Michigan games, he was not the reason that we lost.
I almost feel that we never saw the best of C.J. Stroud. Like, he's so good.
I think we saw it like some of it in the Georgia game.
Yeah.
We saw how good he can be against the best.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing that rubbed me the wrong way the most the last 2 seasons is that now even people were tweeting at me after, which I think it's ignorant, but that his legacy narrative is going to be, oh, he just was the guy who never won a Big Ten title, didn't beat Michigan. He deserves way better than that. He's a great football player. He literally he wanted to come back this year.
Yeah.
Had to basically because it meant so much to him. It left such a sour taste in his mouth that he has to leave Ohio State knowing he didn't beat Michigan or win a Big Ten title or win a national title. He's might be the number 1 pick in the draft, basically guaranteed top probably 2.
I think he's
2 or
guaranteed
3.
top 2. Yeah.
I think so too, and that he wanted to come. I talked to people. He wanted to come back.
That's insane.
And he had to basically be like, guy, like his people be
Go
like,
get your money.
You
Yeah.
can't come back.
Yeah,
Like
you
you just can't.
Even
From
with-
like Ryan Day being like, you can't come back.
Even with like all the insurance in the world that could be available for a guy like that, it's not
he's
worth
basically guaranteed to sign a $30 million contract in the next 6 months.
Well, that, and then he gets to his big
his
contract
endorsement,
a year
his endorsement
quicker. Yeah.
contracts.
He's one of those guys where, we have Ohio State fans that, obviously listen, and most of them are great. Some of them are not. But he was one of those guys that throughout the season, if we questioned his play, they thought we were saying he was shitty. It's like, no, he's so good that when he would have games where he didn't look like the caliber of Heisman Trophy candidate that he was, and we would say that, they're like, oh, you hate CJ Stroud. It's like, no, he's that good. He should always be the number 1 guy that we've seen him play or seen him be in the past.
I also think he's going to be a better pro than he was college player.
I think he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
I think he's the best prospect in this class. I could honestly, what you
At
look
quarterback, yes.
At quarterback. But for him from the beginning, if you remember his first start on the road 2 years ago, it's Minnesota.
Yeah.
He had an errant first half, and people were like, "Put this guy on the bench."
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like the people, I think that's
forgot
kind
about
of
that,
stuck with him throughout his tenure, where like people would just turn an Ohio State game here and there, see like one bad throw, and be like, "What's wrong with this guy?" And be like, "He's not perfect."
All right.
Like I feel like he's incredibly accurate. I mean, people were just too quick to write him off, too quick to like fade his narrative. That's the one thing I would defend about the season is him particularly. Great guy, great quarterback.
Last question, because we got to get a lot of other guys in. Last question. Next year, C.J. Stroud is not going to be there. Travion Henderson will be there, I guess. Mayan Williams, yes, no, maybe.
Yeah,
okay.
a few surprises coming back. Actually.
Marvin Harrison Jr. will be there.
Tommy Eichenberg's coming back, which that was the most surprising, probably.
Cade Stover, is he
Cade
back
Stover.
there? Yeah.
The 2 of them were the most surprising. They were legit, like first like 3 rounds.
Going to be loaded on offense, except for a question mark at quarterback.
Correct.
What's your? Are you operating on a pass fail every year? It's national championship or bust.
Yeah.
I mean, Michigan's bringing back their whole team, and they play you in Ann Arbor.
Yep, correct.
That sounds daunting.
It is. It will be for sure. It's going to be a tough game.
Who's your quarterback?
It's going to. Well, there's 2 names. Do you want me to guess who it's going to be, or you just want?
Just give me both names.
It's going to be Kyle McCord or Devin Brown. It seems like McCord's a kid who's been there.
He's been there longer.
This is going to be his 4th year on campus.
Yeah.
He came in the same year as Stroud. He kind of got cucked by Stroud. Stroud committed late and kind of cucked him, but he was a big recruit. He played in Philly. He played with Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay.
They played together in high school. They're very good friends. Devin Brown's a kid from Utah who came in last year. Big prospect as well, so this is only his 2nd year. They seem to the natural pecking seems to be that he might be a little more like physically gifted.
Yeah.
But McCord's been there a long time, and he's very good too. And even he's starting against, obviously it was Akron, so whatever. He looked good. I mean, not much to get from that. I get a game against Akron at home when Stroud had to sit out the one game, but
Yeah.
He looked good. I mean, I think McCord's the guy. I'd rather go with the veteran guy. But I mean, I trust. Like, I haven't seen enough of Brown to just be like, I don't really know. Maybe he is the guy.
I have a quick question.
I already said final question.
Well, no, but we already brought this up, and it's going to lead into the next guy that's coming in. What do you have to say to the I would assume, very small group of vocal people that are Ohio State fans that are claiming Joe Burrow right now?
They'd be fools not to. He's an Ohio State grad. He played football at Ohio State. I don't know what else.
You can't claim Joe Burrow.
Why not?
He didn't
play a meaningful game for you.
So
he won at LSU.
Yeah, he won. He did great at LSU. Imagine if he never went to Ohio State, he wouldn't look nearly as good.
How do you know that?
I mean, Coach O wasn't exactly a quarterback whisperer.
Well,
no, Joe Brady was.
Maybe. He hasn't been in the pros.
Actually, I kind of like this stubborn college football fan. Like, yeah, of course I'm going to claim him.
I honestly
tell me not to.
I thought he was going to say the opposite, which is why I tried to set that up the way that I did. I had no idea he was one of those clowns.
He's Buckeyes or nothing. So
Joe Burrow didn't play for Ohio State. He did, but he
played.
didn't. He didn't.
What was your favorite highlight from Joe Burrow to Ohio State?
He had some good games. He came in a few games, threw some touchdown passes. He wore number 10 at Ohio State for those that
infamous touchdown pass against.
I think there was a few. I can't. There was
there were so many. There were so many.
There was multiple games he played in. Yeah. I mean, it was unfortunate he broke his hand in the offseason.
It's truly hard to pick out a favorite Joe Burrow highlight at Ohio State.
It's crazy to think if he didn't break his hand, he might have been the starter over Haskins.
So percentage-wise, would you say he's 50-50 Ohio State LSU or?
Well, I mean, he has an Ohio State degree, Casey, so I'd say he's 100.
Big Ev, thank you very much for being here.
Does he have a degree from LSU? Dead serious.
I don't know.
Does he have
I didn't know he had a degree from Ohio State.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Do you?
Was he there for 2.5 years? That's all it takes.
3.
It takes 3 years to get a degree.
He did summers too.
It's not that hard to get a degree if you do summers.
I think he did all 3. He's from Ohio.
Also,
he did all 3
if you're
summers.
not playing very often, you have more time to.
No. He was the
his head was always in the playbook.
It's a master's LSU.
But he
so that's 50-50 then.
Yeah.
What about the national championship?
Both.
Bachelors matter more though.
But what about the national championship and the
Casey,
Heisman?
Whoa! You know we're an academic podcast first and foremost.
Of course.
So we care.
This is academic.
We care about these guys off the field just as much as we care about them on the field.
We don't know what his career is going to look like in the NFL. He might need,
Yeah.
Pie chart. It would be all Ohio State for academics.
And a little sliver for football for national championship.
Who gets the credit? Jalen Hurts.
I remember student athlete. Student comes first.
So what about Jalen Hurts?
Hurts is.
Let him answer.
No, but I got a better example.
Hurts is interesting.
I got a better example.
Let him answer.
I have a better example.
I'll tell you what. We never benched Joe Burrow on a national title game.
So the guy who played much more. All right, no, that's fair.
That's a fact. I just say the fact.
So he's more OU than Alabama.
Can I say mine?
Why don't you just let him finish?
Because he's.
I'm pondering it. It's a tough question. Probably Bama. I mean, he spent more time at Bama as Joe Burrow spent more time at Ohio State.
He also won something at Bama. Joe Burrow didn't win anything at Ohio State. Yeah, go ahead.
So you would argue that when Justin Fields wins the Super Bowl, since he started at Georgia and spent first 2 years there,
less time at Georgia.
It was 2 and 2.
No, one.
Only
one.
Damn, my example sucked too.
Only one, and he doesn't have a degree from Georgia.
You don't know that.
He didn't get one in 1 year.
He may have Georgia.
He might not have one from Ohio State. Probably doesn't.
He might not have one from Ohio State. He only probably not.
No, Justin Fields is a great example.
I don't think he has a degree from Ohio State. He spent more time there though.
I have an example.
Can we please get to the next guy?
Yes, let's get. I could just keep. Well, we know the next guy. What's going to happen? So we're just going to talk about this all the time. Thank you, Big Ev.
2024 national champs were coming.
Just continue.
I appreciate
2020. Whoa! 2024. That's skipping a year.
No, see, people on
Next year's 2023 national championship.
But the championship is in 2024.
Yeah, but it's not.
I know what he meant.
Georgia's the 2022 national champions.
It is the game being played the next year. It does.
Yeah, it fucks it up.
It fucks it up. I will say I really appreciate Ev's very level-headed fandom as being like, listen, we're so good that if we don't win the national championship, it's a failure.
But he's just a raging, stupid homer like everybody else. He keeps it in a well-buttoned-up package.
No, I know, but I'm saying he at least presents it well. Because I will tell you, if my
Well,
school,
Ohio State fans have to claim Joe Burrow because they have no quarterback to claim.
That's true. Please have a seat, Mr. Malasek. This is Jake Malasek, who once wanted to famously make out with, was it Gyllenhaal? Who was it?
Gosling.
Gosling.
why
yes.
wouldn't he?
Wanted to make out with Gosling. He wanted to. What was that full story?
McAdams and Gosling and my dream threesome.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
think there's anything wrong with that.
He included a dude in his dream threesome.
Have you seen Ryan Gosling?
Yes.
Good looking guy.
He's a dude with a penis. I
We
assume.
don't shame. We don't kink
It's
shame.
all right. You'll be heard. You'll be heard.
I still can't get over Jack right now. Every time I look up, it's just
Yeah, he's gigantic. Look how big Jack is.
it's crazy.
Look how small we are. I'm 6'6". Look at me.
Yeah.
Majority of people that consume this podcast are listeners only, and we always say, hey, you should go subscribe on YouTube just for this visual alone. Just
Yeah.
for the still shot of this visual, it's worth to go to the YouTube page.
Jake Malasek, your favorite team are the who?
Virginia Cavaliers. I went there as well.
Fine.
Did you get a degree from there?
I did.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay.
We were asking earlier.
Prior
That's
to
fine.
the season, you sat in this room. Is this room bigger than it used to be?
No, it just looks like it because there's not a crazy desk.
You sat in this room, and you had predictions about the Virginia Cavaliers. Do you remember what some of those might have been?
Yep.
Go ahead.
I had a Heisman quarterback.
Put the mic closer.
No, he can't. It's
It's a little
Oh.
broken. I had a Heisman quarterback. I had us winning 10 games,
Yep.
winning the division, and
Uh-huh.
potentially winning the conference.
Okay, well, question. Did any of those come true?
No.
What was the take about Bryce Young and Brennan Armstrong?
I said if you swapped quarterbacks, I don't think Bama gets worse.
Oh, also, you said
I also said if
Ohio State and
you
Virginia.
swapped helmets of the receiving corps on Ohio State
wouldn't
and
know a
Virginia,
difference.
you wouldn't be able to tell the
It's
difference.
Dontavian Wicks and the others,
We
right?
also had a tragedy in the family, so
Well, we don't have to. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't. You're going to that already.
yeah, one of the big ones.
I thought he would pull that card out.
We
much
all.
later.
We all
all right.
have
But
sympathy
one of those
for
guys
Virginia.
was a receiver.
We have
so
sympathy
it's-
for Virginia
Yes.
and
Thank
the
you.
very real problem they had at the end.
But
course.
before all of that happened,
Yes.
it was a complete and utter failure.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
I
So
blame- I have-
before the day that tragedy happened, which was awful, complete and utter failure.
and
Outside of that, well,
Is
One man to blame for that, and it's Tony Elliott.
okay. Well, he's still your coach.
Correct.
Are you happy about
No,
that?
I hate him. I hope he gets fired.
oh,
Oof.
this is another big discussion for us. This is a great thing that we got here on the transfer quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Brennan Armstrong's going to in conference
Yep. In
rival
conference.
NC State.
Rivals.
In
He's
conference.
already
No, rivals a stretch.
everyone in your
In
conference
conference.
is a rival.
No.
He's already bought an NC State shirt.
And this is why I was asking Ev in the prior segment about claiming quarterbacks, because I do believe that when quarterbacks or players that were really good for a school go to a professional team, that there is a right of those college fans to root for them. Doing it
When they
in
go
college,
pros, yeah.
right? That's what I'm saying. Doing it in college is crazy, and that's what he's doing for Brennan Armstrong.
And I'm going to get to that. In college, this is how I view it. With the transfer portal wide open, when the players transfer in, they're welcome. They're part of the family. When players transfer out, fuck them forever. You're no longer. You're either with us or you're against us. So a guy that played 3 years at Mississippi State and then went to Ole Miss for his last year, fuck him. You can ride up in Oxford as far as I'm concerned. So you're either with us or against us. As soon as you transfer, fuck you forever. You've gone a different way.
Correct.
Brennan Armstrong has transferred to NC State.
Yep.
You've bought an NC State shirt.
I have.
Because you support Brennan Armstrong more than you support the University of Virginia.
That's not true. I also
This is crazy what you're doing.
again,
Insanity.
I've said this before. I think I would be less willing to root for NC State if I believed in Virginia this year. If it was like a competitive,
This
like
makes it worse.
No, I don't
Oh,
think
we're
it
not gonna
does.
be good, so I'm going to take I have a second team now.
I'm not becoming an
In
NC
conference.
State fan. I'm not. I'm hoping Brennan goes to NC State and does well. Like I want him to succeed.
There's a massive difference between the two things, though, because
Correct. Fine.
I'm not on Brandon's side where I think every single guy should just go rot in hell. I do not believe that.
Fuck 'em
now,
all.
you also brought up Oxford. Of course, you feel that way if somebody goes
no,
to
fuck
Ole Miss.
them all. I don't care.
But my example would be when Kyler Murray left A&M and went to OU. I didn't wish him ill,
Why
but I
not?
didn't buy an Oklahoma shirt.
I also don't think that the reason Brennan left has anything to do with him. Like,
I hope
it's-
every player that transfers
Yeah,
from my
dude.
team fails.
No, I
miserably.
think he was fucked. He got fucked, so he left. Like I don't blame
Oh,
him.
so
for
no,
leaving.
he ran
in
from
their
the grind.
conference.
He ran from the
No,
grind.
it's not running from the grind. It's running from
No, he ran from the
a
grind.
horrible situation for your last year.
No,
Don't
he
blame
ran
him.
from the grind. No,
He
it
was
was Dame
also-
Lillard once said he ran from the grind.
Yeah, he ran from his team. He ran from his when his
What
team
about
needed
his
him the
teammates?
most.
Right after a very
When his team needed him the most.
Needed him the
He
most.
needed a leader the most.
And
He's now a
it's not
Wolfpack.
like he was riding the bench. He set records for you guys, so it's not like he
Well,
wasn't getting
before his
playing
last
time.
year because he was garbage this
He
year.
accomplished every record you could possibly accomplish at Virginia. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he
Except
succeeds
being in a bowl game his
at
last
NC
season.
State. I want him to do well at NC State.
Does Virginia play NC State next year?
They do, and I will be rooting for Virginia.
Yeah, I guess
This is
so.
what's so crazy is that they're in the same conference.
But like NC State, and I've talked to Virginia fans about this on Twitter. Like they're not a school we ever think about.
But your little piglets, all right, and you're going up and
Who
you're,
said
you're,
Piggly?
You're,
who said that?
Piggly?
Huh?
Nothing. Just an inside
You're
joke.
little piglets, and
Yep.
you're trying to go for the same teat.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, we're not though.
Yes, you are the ACC
The
championship.
Yeah, but like
Yes.
if we ever again, if Virginia, who was going to go 1-11 this year, somehow wins the Coastal and goes to the AC title game and plays NC State, I will root for Virginia to win.
But
Are you
that's
playing
the-
JMU this year?
Yeah, we're gonna lose.
Oh,
We're gonna lose every game but William and Mary, maybe. We're
This
gonna
is-
suck.
It would make way more sense if it was like Ebo was saying earlier, like he will root for guys that transfer out to go to a Power 5 school because you're not in the same pool. You're not
He's
in
a-
the same.
Yeah, he's a JMU fan.
But that's what I'm
They're-
saying. It's
They're
like-
gum off everybody
Virginia's
else's shoe.
not
They-
that much better. Like it's
They're
not.
in this like you can't root for
Yes,
another
you
school
are. You've been
the
in a
same
you're an
conference.
ACC team. You've been in the Power 5
Listen.
forever.
I thought you were gonna be so
if
good this
how
year.
is
I thought we were too.
how is JMU gonna already pass you by? There's not that
They
much
already-
of a difference.
They already have
that
passed
should
us
make
by.
you
That's sad.
so mad.
It does. But listen, I've said this before. If it was a basketball player that had left to go, like we had Casey Morsell was a basketball player, went to NC State. I did not want him to succeed. I wanted him to fail. This
What's
is
the difference?
because
'Cause
Brennan.
they're better at
I think
basketball than
Brennan
football.
Armstrong, much more impactful to Virginia. Did a lot of stuff for us. He was a great quarterback. I want him to do well. I want him to get drafted. Last year really hurt his draft stock. I thought he was probably a third, fourth round guy before this season. I think he can get back to that point. But basketball, like we're a top 10 team. Like we have great players. We do things. So I don't want those players to do as well. Go on.
Brandon, go ahead. You're raising your hand very politely.
I'm gonna paint a picture for you.
Please.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's just say there's a 3-year scenario.
Okay.
There's year 1, there's year 2, there's year 3. Okay.
Okay.
Year 1, guy succeeds. Guy gets cheered. Guy throws a lot of touchdowns. Guy wins a lot of games. Team, the school and this guy hug each other in a warm embrace. Year 2, guy fucking sucks. It's terrible. Loses everything. Can't throw anymore. Doesn't look like he wants it. The whole thing falls apart. Year 3, guy plays for somebody else. Why are you treating all 3 of those guys like the same person?
Well, it's year 4.
You understand?
I get
that
what you're
was-
saying. Listen, he's also going to NC State because of the Virginia coaching staff that is now at NC State. Like it's a good move for him.
I don't blame
Oh, sounds
him
like
for that.
sounds like you just wanna go to NC State with
They're
them.
hiring. I got a DM from the new O-line coach at NC State who used to be Virginia's O-line coach, and he was like, "Love your takes. Like, hope you root for us."
If
Like,
NC State,
this happens, like I want them to do.
I want you to answer me this question.
Yes.
If NC State's administration put together a package for you, or put together like this video and said, welcome, they had Malasek up on the big
A strong
Jumbotron.
pitch.
They put a
Strong
pitch.
pitch.
They brought
Oh.
you down to Raleigh. They let you run on the 50 and said, we just really want you as a fan for us. Would you consider it?
No, because I didn't go there. I get
That's
this.
why this take
I'm
is so
not
crazy.
becoming an NC State fan.
They're giving you an
But you
honorary
are.
degree.
I'm not becoming an NC State
An
fan.
honorary degree.
Doctor or
The best one possible.
no, but I'm
thought about
I'm
it.
not
He did.
I'm not becoming an NC State fan. I'm just
See, if
hoping,
you really were a true like college football fan, you would have said there, "Oh, NC State degree, it's useless."
That's not.
You thought
we have
about
a
it.
friend that went there. That's not nice.
No, but that would have been funny.
Katie
Listen.
loved that.
I'm
know what
not
that friend thinks
I'm
of you?
not becoming he hates me. I'm not becoming an NC State fan. I'm rooting for my quarterback. that
He's not your
transferred
quarterback.
To
He's
NC
not your
State.
quarterback. He's not your quarterback. You're a Virginia
He's been
fan.
my quarterback for 3
He's
years.
not your
left.
quarterback anymore. You
left.
got to let go.
There are 2 quarterbacks that I've loved at
He's
Virginia.
not your
and he's one of
quarterback.
them.
You gotta-
Who's,
you gotta
Bryce
move on.
Perkins?
Yes.
He's not your quarterback anymore. He's gone. You got to let him go.
You got to move on to the next girl.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna hope he does well.
Bro, she left
That's-
you for a better
She's
man.
gone.
Root
She's
for
gone.
him. in
What
the
you can do,
NFL.
you have 2 options. You can cry about it or become the better man.
She's gone.
Love that, Jack.
She ain't coming back.
Love that.
I can't give him up.
Oh, this is going to be a rough breakup.
And it's gonna, you know what's brutal?
He's bought a shirt
He's gonna
of
be
the next
listening.
relationship.
He's gonna be listening to sad music like Michael Scott in The Office.
You know what he did?
Marvin's Room. Drake.
He not only is supporting the next relationship and still missing her, even though
I
she's
swear to
with
God,
another
if you
guy.
make a fucking hype tape
No, I'm not gonna
for
be
Brennan
No,
Armstrong.
I'm not. I'm not. I promise.
He bought a shirt
I
with
promise.
a picture on it.
I bought just a normal NC State shirt.
No, but I'm saying
it was
in their
just,
next relationship,
it was
you bought
just,
a shirt to support your girl's next relationship.
That was more to piss Quiggs off.
You
which
liked
did
her
work.
photo on Instagram when she soft launched him.
Jake,
you liked
Yeah.
it.
Jake, get the fuck
And
out
not
of
out
here.
of spite, not
Get
out
the
of
fuck
pettiness.
out of
here.
Are
Because
you
he
gonna do this
actually
to me
was
all year
happy.
though? You're gonna make fun of me for that?
This will probably be the only time I worry about it.
All right, cool.
I'm not gonna
That's
think
fine.
about. I'm not gonna think about Virginia or NC State more than today.
You're not gonna have to either.
By the time we get to the season, I do believe that you will see the difference between hoping somebody has success and rooting for them. What you're doing right now is crazy.
I disagree.
Get the fuck out.
Wishing the best for somebody and hoping they do well is different.
Thank you.
Pathetic
Thank you.
fucking loser. Thanks, Jake.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, before we get to our next distinguished guest,
I will say,
I'm not scared of you.
Okay.
and I will say, distinguished is a lovely word. I'd like to point out one more time. Look how the difference.
Look how much bigger Jack looks than Big T. Yeah.
Yes, Big T is quite literally named
Yeah.
Big for his size.
Big T's also barely on the screen right now.
And
yeah.
Jack still makes all of us look like Honey, I
I
Shrunk the
want
Kids.
Jack to sit in that chair the rest of time.
It's so good.
Is this one of those slanted floors?
It's something.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
the
look at
issue. I mean,
this.
look at me. I like when I sit up, like I look like I'm.
Look at your legs.
Now, Big T also looks like he's about 6'8",
Yeah.
and he's already, you're what,
Big,
6'4"?
Big T's also. All right, he's 6'6".
6'6".
Yeah.
Oh, my
But
bad, my bad.
But still.
I didn't mean any disrespect.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no,
Jack,
you're all good.
Jack looks like he's an
Big T
actual
looks good right now.
giant.
Yeah.
A half inch.
You're not that tall, are you?
You
Now,
think
you
you're
two are
Polish?
good. You guys would be good.
You think
Yeah,
you're-
but
bodyguards.
an inch, if not two.
not two.
By the way,
You're
I
not
saw
too
a,
We'll stand up in
Of the-
a second.
Did you know that DJ Uigalele's father used to be a bouncer and like security guard for people like Kim Kardashian, Rihanna, and
Really?
whatnot? Yep.
All right. Before we get to Big T,
a big dude,
and
huh?
I did like that nugget of information.
I
Give
did
me
too. That's a
another
Jack
nugget
McNugget.
of information.
You know what tasted great?
Do you know what I started today?
Your Factor meals?
My Factor meals. Yes, I
I was
did.
going to say chicken nuggets are great, and so are the chicken that comes in the Factor
I
meals.
had chicken and cheesy broccoli over a brown rice.
And I know
today.
I'm going to say this, and people are going to be like, oh, you're just saying this for an ad. I had that exact same meal last night for dinner from Factor.
They are
Factor.
very fresh. They are very good. Tell them what it is first. We haven't told them what it is.
So we talk a lot about different types of meal kits on this
Sure.
podcast. Factor is different because it comes to you pre-made from a chef, but never frozen. It
Yeah.
comes to you every single week on ice. It's never been frozen. It's been freshly cooked. It's put into a lovely little box for you. You put it in your refrigerator, and then you just pop it in the microwave. It is so delicious because they have all the freshest ingredients, and you don't have to cook it yourself.
No.
You
just
don't have to cook
2
it
minutes
yourself.
in the microwave.
2 minutes. It's prepared by chefs. It's approved by dietitians. Each meal has all the ingredients you need to feel satisfied all day long. And as always, when I use these meal kits, which I do, I use the ones where I have to cook them. I also use Factor. You have all the different options all week. You can choose your menu. Every week there's 34 different options. There's always things that you can try. They've got different things too. They've got the keto, they've got the veggie, they've got the protein plus, calorie smart. The way that I ended up finding out about Factors, I was in the kitchen here at Barstool
Sure.
Sports, as per usual.
Yeah, you
around
hang out
lunchtime.
there every day. Right?
I do hang out there, yes, more and more so recently. But before college football season started, there was somebody on the third floor that was making this meal, and it smelled amazing. I was like, what is that? It smells so good. He explained to me what Factor was. He was like, hey, I can give you a free box and see if you like it. I have been using it every single week since because it is so easy to do, and you don't have to order takeout, Brandon. You
Yep.
don't have to go to the grocery store, and you don't have to cook. Just 2 minutes, and you love it.
I do love it. It's very good, and my meals are planned out for the week, and they're healthy.
You can skip the chopping, the prepping, the cleaning up. Factor's fresh, never frozen. Meals are ready in just 2 minutes. All you have to do is heat and enjoy. I had a Reuben one the other day. So good.
That sounds delicious. I
It was
love
so
Reubens.
good.
Reubens are the best sandwich.
They are. They are. Thousand Island dressing. Yum.
Reubens the best sandwich.
I love
We're in an
Reubens.
ad. You can't disagree.
Shaking my head.
Well, he can try one of the other
Tell 'em what to
33 weekly
do.
options. Head to factor75.com/walker60. use the code Walker60. You get 60% off your first box. That's code Walker60 at factor75.com/Walker60. You get 60% off your first box.
Kind of wish I'd have known about that code before I was my first box.
I mean, whenever I sat down to do the ad, you heard what I said. I was like, so wait, can I just use this now? I can stop paying full price?
Yeah.
Factor75.com/Walker60. Use code Walker60. Get 60% off your first box. If you're trying to change your lifestyle, if you're trying to eat better and also have delicious meals and not have to cook or do anything like that, Factor's got you. It just takes 2 minutes. Factor75.com/Walker60.
Big Tennessee.
Brandon,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Good. You sat in this room to preview the 2022 college football season, and you were all up in arms about how Tennessee was going to be good. And you said, do you remember the line that you said that I'm going to repeat to you right now?
That you should pray we don't go 9-3.
You should pray we don't go 9-3.
I think to whatever God you believe in.
Pray to whatever
that we
God
don't go
you
9-3.
believe in that we don't go 9-3 and then have Nico coming in. Now, at that time, you didn't
seen that
know.
kid?
You didn't know Nico would be named the number 1 overall recruit in the country, which On3 did that to satisfy your big customer base, not really because they believed it.
That's not how that works.
It's absolutely true.
I'll send you. Shannon Terry explained how they break down their
I've never heard of
evaluations.
Shannon Terry.
I'll send you that.
I don't know who Shannon Terry is. No disrespect. You obviously know that I shouted you out last show. That was a joke
Yeah.
to mess with him. Anyway.
And not only that, did you see that it got some attention from a former person who used to work here who now works for Shannon Terry?
I did not. Who was that?
Deirdre.
Okay. So
Did you not see that?
I
she
did.
say?
I didn't see that.
She was tagging you and being like, when worlds collide, and put the video up multiple times.
No,
And I was like,
I didn't know.
It's unbelievable. She never once, I'm like an invisible person to that woman.
I think she tagged you too.
No, she didn't.
Oh.
I'm an NPC.
Hey, guys, over here.
She tagged Brandon though.
You said, pray to whatever God you believe in. We do not go 9-3, and then show up with a big time recruit. You didn't go 9-3. You went 11-2, 10-2 in the regular season. You spent several weeks at number 1 in the season. You beat Alabama.
Just 1 week.
You beat the shit out. Oh yeah, that's right. It was my team that spent several weeks at number 1 when we got there. Anyway,
they got humiliated in the Orange Bowl, right? Didn't win it.
I don't remember. But anyway,
Gave up like 600 rushing yards.
I don't remember who we played. This is so long ago. Anyway, you beat Alabama. You beat the shit out of LSU. Hendon gets hurt late. You end up losing 2 games. But overall, go ahead.
I mean, I told you this was going to happen. I said we were going to go 10-2.
You did not. You said pray you don't go 9-3.
But I predicted we went game by game. I said 10-2. Now I did say we were going to beat Alabama, but I did say we were going to go 10-2.
So I assume you beaten LSU. You had you beaten South Carolina.
Yeah, it was Bama and
losses
Georgia.
to Georgia and
Bama
Bama?
and Georgia. Yeah. We were a fucking awesome football team. It was fun.
Give your team a letter grade for this year.
A+.
No chance.
Yeah.
No, you
Yeah.
didn't. No.
So what do you
because
give them
A+,
if they won a national title?
What if you had beaten South Carolina? You saying it couldn't get better? What if you beaten South Carolina and got in the playoff? That's A+.
Okay, A.
No, well, you're the one that said A+.
But
knowing that
like our win total was 7.5. We sat here and like I said we were going to go 10-2, and y'all laughed and scoffed.
That's fair, but you can't.
And then
get
we won
better than
11
an A+.
games, beat 3 of the last 4 national champions. That's an A+.
No, an A+ would be winning the national title.
Wow. What a weird way to stretch it, to just shoehorn your win against Clemson in there, saying.
What do you mean?
It sounds so impressive, beat 3 of the 4
Yeah,
national
it was
champions.
impressive.
Yeah, but Clemson wasn't that good this year.
It's not like
Clemson
you beat him
wasn't
with
good at
Trevor
all this year.
Lawrence.
Clemson was 1 win away from going to the playoff too.
Clemson wasn't good.
They
Clemson wasn't good.
weren't nearly as good as we were. But to what you said, Casey, that's to say that only one team can have a supremely successful season. That's just not true. Tulane had an A+ season.
Yeah,
a
but
decent-
Tulane
it's a decent little
didn't
point.
win a. Yeah, but they didn't win a national
again-
championship in 1998.
You put yourself in position to you got here where you were about to reach the highest heights, and then you ended up reaching here,
I
which
would
is
say like
fine.
an A- like
it's
an
it's
A
a lot higher
minus.
than you thought you were going to reach.
I guess I can
A-.
settle with you at A, but I do have a problem with the national champ. Like most teams can't win a national
I
championship.
agree
Now
with
Tennessee
that.
could have.
Tennessee
If you
can.
beat South Carolina, you play in the playoff. That's a fact.
Correct.
So
And you
that's not
didn't.
an A+.
And you,
Yes.
and you got your doors beat off by a team you shouldn't have got your doors beat off by. You gave
Yes.
63 points to South Carolina
You
team
lost.
who
You
was
lost by 30.
Yes, and then we also beat all those other teams.
You did.
We're not taking
solid
away
A,
from it.
solid A.
I would
Not
say.
a
Sure,
plus.
I can settle with you at
I'm
A.
taking the plus. You can't have the plus.
I would say
fine.
that I would give them a solid A if they had not lost South Carolina by 30. You guys had an unbelievable season. It's definitely an A. I would say an A minus because had you beaten South Carolina, you would have at least been in the college football playoff.
Okay, but again, like if we're sitting here a year ago and we're saying that the bar for critiquing Tennessee is going to be that it didn't make the playoff, sign me
Do
up.
you think giving them an A is critiquing them?
An A minus is not a critique. It's
Well,
just
I
not
didn't give them a
perfect.
minus.
Well, that was what she did. That's what she was doing.
Well,
we're saying
Casey's-
Tennessee didn't make the
Casey's
playoff.
worst.
That's the knock
Casey's
on
the
them.
worst. Just talk to me.
No,
don't worry about
don't
her.
do
No,
that.
no,
Don't-
Casey's wonderful.
Thank you.
You. That's not what you told me.
That's Brandon. You're hearing things. I'm not critiquing Tennessee as a whole because I agree with you. I would never have thought they would be in the conversation that they were. However, I do think that the fact that they had a pretty clear path to make it into the playoff and,
And that's
lost by
fine,
30
and
to
that's-
Spencer Rattler does involve a little bit of a knock on the grade.
Okay.
Sure.
Do you feel bad for 2 years ago being lukewarm about the hire of Josh Heupel?
Do I feel bad about? I mean, I was wrong. I don't necessarily feel bad about. I mean, we're talking about this now with perfect information. We didn't have perfect information at that time.
You didn't have perfect foresight. I knew he was. I knew he was going to be
You
good.
did?
I knew it was a matter of time. I knew that Tennessee is.
I
a
wish you
sleeping
would have told
giant.
me that.
Tennessee was a sleeping giant, and Hendon Hooker is one of the best looking prospects in the country, and he's just
Well, I
waiting
did
for
tell you
somebody.
that.
He's waiting for somebody like Josh Heupel to unlock him.
He was.
Now, I have said one nice thing about Tennessee. There's two. You want the bad or the good?
You can give both.
The good. There's a school of thought out there that says Tennessee, this was their big year. Next year, they lose Hendon Hooker and they got Joe Milton. Can't be as good. I disagree with that vehemently, and here's why. Nobody could have seen Hendon Hooker play at Virginia Tech and say, in 2 years, he'll be a Heisman contender playing for #1 team at Tennessee. Nobody. Josh Heupel and him together made that happen. If he did it for Hendon Hooker, who was an average quarterback at Tech, why couldn't he do it for Joe Milton?
Agreed.
That's true. Now you got to replace some receivers.
Which I would respond. Go watch the Clemson game.
You got to replace some receivers.
And
That's just the truth.
we're definitely a better team next year than the team that played
But I
against Clemson.
I don't know that you guys were good because your receivers were good. I think you were good and the receivers were good because Heupel's offense is just legit. Heupel's offense puts
rocks.
teams in really bad spots and it gets guys open down the field. Like, I don't know that there was many times this year where I saw a receiver for Tennessee make an incredibly spectacular play 45 yards down the field. I saw a lot of times where a Tennessee wide receiver was wide open 45 yards down the field. But you know what I'm saying? If he did it once with Jalen Hyatt and whoever you had, I think he can do it again.
I
Now,
agree.
Does your defense get better?
I think the defense. I don't imagine it will be worse. And we had this discussion the other day.
That's not really good praise.
No. Tennessee, they've gotten a couple good guys in the portal.
The sigh you had when
they
you
had
said
to
that.
have some really good freshmen. Tennessee's defense doesn't need to be elite. It needs to be serviceable. So if you can have an average defense and hold teams under 28 points a game, Tennessee, any game in which Tennessee's opponent does not reach 30 points, Tennessee should win.
True or false? By the way, Georgia scored 27 and beat you by 2 touchdowns. True or false?
Right, against a elite, the best team in the country.
True or false? The Tennessee Volunteers win a national championship in the next 5 years.
Oh, true. Nico.
wow.
Okay, how many years?
I would say 2025.
So 2 seasons from now.
3, yeah. The 2025 season.
22.
Oh, okay,
So
yes.
Nico's true junior season.
Right. His second year of being a
Being
starter.
a starter. So he'll learn this year behind Joe. Then
Who,
he'll-
by the way, like we were talking about Nico, who, I don't know if y'all watched the Polynesian Bowl, is disgusting.
did
Yeah,
not.
we did.
Did not.
Yeah, we watched that one.
Joe Milton is,
All
I think,
together, matter of fact.
he's 7th or 8th right now in Heisman odds on the Barstool Sportsbook. You should responsibly. This is not gambling advice, but I've responsibly
Now,
placed
Big,
a wager
Big
on
T.
that.
Me too.
Big T, you and I, we had a little moment because, and not to throw anybody under the bus, Brandon, whenever everyone predicted, other than me on the college football show, that Tennessee was going to lose to Vanderbilt.
To Vanderbilt, that was a cute time.
And I said, No, because I believe in Joe Milton, because Big T has told me that Joe Milton's the guy. And, oh, yeah, you guys
That's
made
crazy.
you
believe
guys
that was
made
56-0.
That's
you
crazy.
guys made a lot of fun of me for predicting that. And everyone was like, "Did you see Joe Milton play at Michigan?" Joe Milton's not the same guy that he was
Joe
at Michigan.
Milton rocks. He flicks the football 65 yards. I want to see him truly unleash one, because he's never really stepped into one and thrown it as hard as he can. He rocks.
Now-
He has
He's-
had some throws where he throws it like 20 yards or
Now
20
at the
rows
beginning of
into the
last
stands,
season,
yes.
and thank goodness he did, because it led us to Hendon Hooker. But Joe Milton, like anyone that Joe Milton probably had 5 of the Tennessee's 8 best throws from a quarterback this season.
Absurd. That's a crazy
No.
statement.
No, that's
crazy
100%
statement.
Against
true.
Missouri, he
Missouri-
had 3 of the most beautiful passes I've ever seen.
He
And
had
then in the Orange Bowl,
a couple against Clemson, one against Akron, where he just he couldn't have
Okay.
walked it 70 yards better.
Got to keep it a little tight, but are you ready for the bad?
Sure.
I don't mind Tennessee being back as a program. In fact, I think it's probably good. It's good that Georgia has somebody to play with over there in the East. It's good that Georgia has somebody they got to worry about in the East, because Florida's
Thank goodness they got to play somebody next season.
Florida's tanked their fucking program with Billy Napier's Sunbelt ass, and South
Sunbelt
Carolina's
Billy,
too far
that's
away.
correct, yeah.
But so thank God Tennessee's at least stepping up to give Georgia something to do over there.
But you hate it personally.
However, I don't hate it personally. I don't hate anybody, okay?
Okay.
he deals
That's
with
news
facts.
to me.
What I hate are the Tennessee fans that showed up this year and acted like college football has just gotten so much better because of our presence at the top. College football is just better when Tennessee's good. No, it's really not. It's better for you guys. And the fact that you had Wes Rucker out there saying it, the fact that you had idiots calling me, the fact that you had all these idiots, college football is just better when Tennessee's good. We're just one of the best programs in the country. No, it's better for you motherfuckers. College football didn't gain an inch by you guys being good.
Are you calmed down?
I'm fine.
So the guy who doesn't hate
was
anybody,
disrespectful.
hates Wes Rucker, hates Tennessee fans.
Time. At what point in that little mini
You
rant
mentioned
did I say I hate Wes
disparagingly.
Rucker? See, this is what college football fans do. I simply said
That wasn't even. I was just laying out-
stop talking.
Okay,
Stop talking.
sure.
I
There
you
simply
go.
said you have guys out here like Wes Rucker saying you took that sentence and turned it into he hates Wes Rucker.
Okay,
what a
you
stupid
don't hate Wes
weak-minded
Rucker.
college
You don't
football
hate
thing.
Wes Rucker. Will you
And
let
I
me
don't hate
respond to what you
Tennessee.
said? Will you let me respond to what you said?
Yeah. Respond to it smartly and not that way.
You and we had this discussion already. I don't give a fiddler's fuck if college football is good or
But
not.
you know that
I only
Tennessee
care if
fans-
Tennessee is good.
You know that
So
Tennessee-
yes, it is better
Did
for
Tennessee fans say that this year?
me. Sure.
Not only Tennessee fans, other people at this
But
company who are not Tennessee
a
fans
lot of
said it.
people also said that. I think they
Yeah,
would say
Dave
that for
said it.
any.
Dave doesn't know college
If
football.
Nebraska,
Dave knows 3 players in college football.
If Nebraska went 11-2 next season, people would say that about Nebraska.
I do agree. with
I certainly wouldn't.
you wouldn't,
I
but
don't
a lot
give
of
a
people
shit
would.
about Nebraska.
A lot of people would say that about Texas.
Tennessee-
A lot of
Miami.
people
When
would
Tennessee
say,
beat Alabama, Tennessee fans were just, oh my goodness, it's so good for college football. Look at this scene. Look at this. You can see that scene everywhere
Now
in college football.
that game, okay, now you're just trolling.
Yes.
I'm sorry. What's so different? I mean, LSU has 100,000 people. I know it's a big stadium and it was loud and it's awesome environment.
Neyland was awesome.
There's a
this
lot
year,
of great,
Brandon.
awesome
That
environments.
was one of the greatest college football scenes we've seen this century.
That's the most absurd.
That's 100%
Is
true.
it top 15? Yes. Top 10. I'll give you top 10.
It was a top.
One of the greatest scenes. The way you
Three-ish.
say it, though, one of the greatest scenes we've
Auburn,
ever seen.
Auburn after the kick six.
Yeah.
That, and I'm struggling to come up with
Oh,
one
I don't
that's
know if you
even.
put that with the kick six.
Where else do you put it?
I mean, the kick six is the best college football play of all time.
I'm talking about post-game environment.
He's talking
and
about what it
scenes.
looks like when there's a sea of orange on the field.
The carrying the goalpost out and all that was very iconic. I will give him that. And we
Give
talked
him a
about
better
it.
one.
It was fine.
Yeah. What are
I
other
will
Yeah,
say
what are we
this-
waiting for?
This year, it was by far the best.
No, but give
scene
him
of
a
the
better
season.
one.
It was. You have to say that.
No, not this season. Give him a better one.
ever?
I'm working on it, Jack. Just relax. I'm thinking. I mean, we're talking about regular season because in my mind, I immediately go to Vince Young going to the
That's
corner
what-
and then
The
and all
Rose
that.
Bowl with Vince Young is number
I think,
one.
I
to
think
me.
about those things. What you're saying is very specific here. Home environments where you just beat a big time
Not
team.
not even that necessarily. The way the game unfolded, the circumstances,
There's been
everything
a lot of great
about it.
games. There's been a lot of great games
All the circumstances surrounding that game were elite.
because it was your school.
No. That was the best game in college football this year. Does anyone disagree with that?
I would have to think.
I don't think any reasonable person
it's just the game.
disagrees with
We're
that.
talking about the game.
Yeah.
I would say it's.
I'd say Florida State
definitely-
LSU has a
That game wasn't good. It was 24-21.
No, I
In
would
a
put
fucking
Alabama, Tennessee.
NFL
That game
stadium.
stunk.
For
That
the
game did not stink.
Yes, it did.
That game did not stink. No, that game was crazy good.
it was also
The end of the game was
24-23.
awesome.
Jaden Daniels couldn't throw the ball. Keishawn Butte was running fake routes.
the game.
Nobody
was
played
pretty
defense
awesome.
in this one.
I know they did.
From a hype standpoint and the way that it lived up to it, I would say Tennessee Alabama was
Fair
the best
enough.
game.
All right.
Because the hype
I'm
going
just
into
tilting
that.
against windmills right now.
But Florida State LSU was awesome. There just wasn't the
trying
hype
to
surrounding
think.
it.
Trying to
Also,
think.
what made that game awesome was a kicker
USC
sucking.
UCLA was
like,
pretty fucking good.
I mean, you don't have to shit on another game. Ohio, LSU,
no, it was
Florida
fine.
State
It was
awesome.
good. It was good.
And USC UCLA was awesome.
Yeah, okay. It's Alabama, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I'll grant that. Georgia Ohio State was playoff game though, but yeah, that was way up there. Okay, fine.
It was.
There. See how I'm reasonable. See how I can listen to a
Sometimes.
point of view and arrange myself. Say, okay, maybe he's right.
Yeah.
Tennessee fans can't do that. You guys,
I disagree with you.
You
there.
guys think Tennessee is a lot more important in the grand scheme of things than they really are.
I think I think Tennessee's pretty important, but I don't subscribe to that necessarily.
Brandon, if Notre Dame wins a national title, is it better for the sport?
I don't think anybody winning is better for the sport.
So then you just disagree with that premise entirely,
Yes.
which is fine because I don't necessarily buy into that either.
I don't think sports ever really benefit from one team. I think sports might benefit from a region of the country. Like USC representing the West this year and getting to the playoff would have been big for the West Coast. I don't know that, the way I look about Tennessee is this. Tennessee fans believe there are people across the country who are excited to see Tennessee back. Nobody in Idaho, Missouri, Iowa gives a flat fuck. It's all Tennessee fans, and that's fine. You deserve to be happy.
I don't know that anyone I certainly don't give a shit about that. I don't care.
I had Tennessee fans calling my show by the bucketful, telling me that this was one of the best years in college football because Tennessee was good. That happened. Katie,
If,
did that
if
happen?
people hold that opinion, that's fine. I don't care what anyone else.
Are you a little? Does it make you a little mad that you chose the wrong school? Because if you had gone to your in-state school, Georgia, you would be a two-time defending national champion.
Well, I didn't go to high school in Georgia, so that wasn't an in-state school. But no, I despise Georgia.
Me too, brother. Their fans all of a sudden act like they've been good for 40 years.
It is truly it's sickening that we've lost the one thing that I held dear, which was that they were the Mets.
Yeah.
Up until
And
a year and
Kirby Smart was a joke.
55 weeks ago, they were the Mets,
Can I
and now
ask
they're
you two a
not, which
question?
sucks.
Because I don't hate Georgia, and you guys hate Georgia. But isn't
I hate
it
everybody.
Isn't it? I know you hate everybody, but isn't it kind of nice in y'all's minds that at least it's not Alabama fans?
No.
Alabama was the devil we
rather
knew.
Alabama?
Alabama was
No.
the devil we knew. Oh, now the problem is, Casey, instead of one Alabama, there's two. As far as fan bases go.
And the one that's the new one is way worse.
Also, one of the biggest victories for him this year in Tennessee as a whole, I think, is they've defeated and taken the number 2 spot in their conference from Florida. Florida,
Yeah.
for the past, 2 decades, has been either 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And Tennessee is now firmly number 2 in their, I said conference, sorry, I meant division.
But that's what I meant. They were, you know what? And I'll just give it to them.
And that's massive.
They were not the second best team in the East this year. They were second best team in the SEC. I mean, they were better than
yeah,
LSU.
sure.
They were better than Alabama.
Yep.
And now I think the East has shifted back. It's no longer West and East where the West was so much better. I think now it's at least even. And you got Georgia and Tennessee for the foreseeable future, in my opinion, on top of the East. I guess, whoever, LSU and Alabama next year for the West. But
And they've done a great job with NIL, it appears. And if you look at other schools, there's some schools that are having massive issues. Florida.
Yeah, you hate to see that.
can I ask a question?
Yikes.
5-star quarterbacks hit at about a 50% clip. Are you prepared for Nico to possibly be a bust?
Let me tell you something.
Oh boy.
If you can watch Hendon Hooker play for Josh Heupel and what we've seen from Joe
I
Milton,
asked the question.
I would say I would be shocked if Nico Iamaleava is not a really awesome college football
Wait,
player.
teach us how to say it.
Iamaleava.
Iamaleava.
Say it again.
Iamaleava.
Mali.
Ava.
Yes.
Maliava.
Don't say that made it difficult.
Maliava.
But you say Nico, we all know who you're talking about.
Mali, Ava. There's 3 names. Mali, and Ava.
So now put it all together.
Mali,
Maliava.
Okay, all right. That's how I did with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Where did his auntie go? Tecumpo. Auntie Tecumpo. That's easy now.
Good.
Maliava.
Maliava.
And he's going to be a beast.
He's just going to go by Nico, though. I mean, nobody's going to.
Yeah.
Nico is a good name.
We got used to saying Tua's last name.
Tagovailoa.
That's easier than Maliava, though.
That's
wasn't.
true.
It wasn't though at first. Before we knew it was tongue.
But people still can't. I can't pronounce Giannis's name.
Can I
People
call
just
him
call me
Nico
Giannis.
Bosco?
No, absolutely
People
not.
still don't say Marcus
Please,
Mariota's
no.
name.
Nico Bosco.
No.
I might call him Nico Bosco.
Don't do it.
Nico?
Yeah, Nico Bosco. No.
What? No, come on. He's his own man.
You could get him a high noon. What if he had a high noon?
No,
He's
no.
underage.
Now
Underage.
Big T's going
That's
to
true.
win.
Yeah,
Sure.
put some respect on this guy's name.
Who?
Nico.
Nico or Rico?
Nico.
Okay, well, not much to say.
Oh,
other
ESPN
than-
moved him up from like 43 to 23.
20, yeah. Have you seen this?
Okay, but why does the one who has him number 1 automatically right?
Well, no, the other two have him too. So it's 1, 2, 2, 21. And you should have you looked at ESPN's rankings?
No.
They take Alabama's recruiting class
Yes.
and then just work backwards from there. It's Alabama, Clemson, Alabama,
Georgia.
Alabama, Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia.
That's hysterical.
Also, let's not forget, you said that if Tennessee beat South Carolina, they would be in the playoff. Let's not forget the College Football Playoff Committee this year did not want to say Tennessee's name, didn't want them in the playoff.
those
They may not
guys-
have not even been in it.
We wouldn't have made a 12-team playoff.
No,
if we
yes,
beat
they
South
hated.
Carolina.
They would not say their
Those
name.
guys-
You were going to be in.
You were.
They boo Corrigan,
Yep.
one of the biggest fraudsters in the history.
This is revisionist history now.
No, it's not.
Said
He was
on
saying this
live
during-
television that Tennessee's 27-13 loss in Athens was the same as Oregon's 49-3 loss to
that's
Georgia
ridiculous.
on a neutral field. They said, "Do you view those losses as similar?" He said, "Yes."
That's ridiculous.
Well, I don't agree with that, but Tennessee lost that game by more than 14 points.
Yeah, you have, and that's fine. It was not the same as losing by 46 on a neutral field. And they were going to do everything in their power. Now, the way things ended up breaking, yes, we would have made the playoff if we beat South Carolina.
Tennessee was better than Oregon. That also wasn't a neutral field. Can we stop calling it that?
I mean, it was not in Athens.
That's not a neutral field.
Athens is an hour from Atlanta.
If we took
There's more Georgia fans in Atlanta than there are in Athens.
that's by
That's the truth.
density, that's
Yes.
true. But if you took the noise levels at those two games, I guarantee you they were not comparable.
Georgia's a quiet stadium, and you know that. I don't know why y'all.
It
act
usually
like it was loud.
is. They got up for that
oh
one.
boy, you say that.
Don't
Don't rile him up. Don't poke
All
the
right.
bear.
Well, last question, then I'll let you go. Mm-hmm. The only thing I want to know next year: Georgia visits Tennessee. Can you beat them?
Seems like we're about the only team that can.
Well, you didn't get within 2 touchdowns of them this year.
Missouri
We are
almost beat them.
do you know
Missouri lost to them by 4.
Yeah.
do you know we are the only team they play next season who did not lose at least 5 games in 2022?
Their
Their
schedule is
next year-
something.
It's the most shocking thing I've ever seen.
It is so easy.
It's something.
Now, to be fair, they did have Oklahoma scheduled
Yep.
originally.
Who pulled out, Georgia or Oklahoma?
Well,
No,
the
well, they-
SEC told
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Georgia
Okay.
and Tennessee had Oklahoma coming up, and they said to cancel those because they weren't going to be
Because
able to.
that's one of those. Michigan had that shitty non-conference schedule this year, and Michigan fans were like, we had UCLA scheduled, and then I'm like, yeah, you pulled out of it.
Yeah, no, that was
You
from,
canceled
That
it.
was from the SEC.
Yeah, so you can't. You
But their
understand.
schedule is a joke.
You give them a little bit of a head nod for that. Like they had Oklahoma scheduled.
Which, to be fair, is Florida and
Who's
South
your big-
Carolina.
You had Pitt this year. Who's your out-of-conference game next year?
We play Virginia. We're going to beat the piss out
Oh
of them.
dear, we just had Malasek on.
Yeah. Well, he's an NC State fan now.
Yes,
so-
yes. All right, Big T. Thank you very
Big
much.
T.
Thank you.
That was very reasonable, and nobody yelled.
You
Did anybody yell? Did I yell?
you got a little emotional.
Leave.
Just about Wes Rucker.
Executive decision made by the heart and soul of the podcast.
After you just went outside and measured your height next to Big T's.
I did. We went and measured. He's got me by
4.
about an inch, maybe an inch and a half.
And you are wearing shoes. Then.
Air Maxes, yeah.
He had bigger shoes than me.
His shoes are.
He was wearing platform shoes.
God bless his
John Travolta
girlfriend.
in Saturday Night Fever.
Were you? Did you fluff your hair up or down?
Down. I pressed it down.
I had to measure
Katie
from
was
the back of
yelling.
his head.
No, put your hair down.
Yeah, she was.
The back
making
of his head has a weird lump in it.
Okay, well that counts. The lump counts. That's part of my height.
Oh, and by the way, it's not a
and
dangerous
it's not.
lump.
And it's also not a lump. It's a dent. It's a
But
dent.
it makes the top of it lump.
Yeah, but it's a dent.
I only know this because your mom told me. That
Me and Katie went out to eat with my mom a couple weeks ago. Did she
and
tell
she
you
said
anything?
she roasted you the whole time.
Oh yeah,
It was a roast of Brandon Walker and the rest of West Point. It was fantastic.
yeah.
I love listening to his mom talk shit about him. It's so great.
We just sat in that restaurant, which is in my hometown, and we roasted everybody that will walk in. Here comes this asshole here.
Oh, you
fun.
like you knew him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the man's government name, but the man that I believe is in West Point that you guys were roasting when I went that's been trying to hit on your mom.
Oh yeah.
Very funny
Yeah.
story.
Oh yeah. Well, you don't know his government name. Nobody does. Anyway.
The news. Executive
Jody,
decision.
you can DM me. I'll tell you who it was. Go ahead.
The executive decision is that we're going to do a part 2 next
We'll
week.
do part 2 next week with the TCU guy, with the Michigan State guy, with the Penn State guy. Yeah. Anybody
Travie?
else?
Alabama.
Travie. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Gotta have
Alabama.
Travie.
wait,
That's why we
this episode needs to be called part 1, so we know that part 2 is coming.
I have to do the dozen at 6. The experts have a match.
And this
tonight.
could have been 3 hours. We could have had Big T and Big Ev, I think,
Yeah.
Well, Big Ev's a great talker. Big T, I think we could, just because he says so many things.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have sat and talked to Big Ev about his Joe Burrow Ohio State.
No, well, Big
Take
Ev is a
forever.
great conversationalist.
Before we get out of here, though, there are some news items that we got to talk about. Number one, just off the top of my head, Cormani McClain, 5-star. On3 has him as a 5-star plus. 5-star guy that was committed to Miami, drug his feet, didn't sign. You know where he's going?
Colorado.
Going to Colorado. So now
DBU, baby.
Deion Sanders will have the number 1 cornerback from last year's class, Travis Hunter on one side, the number 1 cornerback from the other class, this year's class on the other side. That's their 2 cornerbacks. And it's a quarterback-heavy league. Deion's going to get players.
And can I please say, I know that there are probably people that listen to this show that are like, yeah, we get it, Deion, whatever. The internet being like, oh, all of Barstool talks about Deion, and like every single network was blowing up Colorado, ESPN, Fox, CBS, because what he is doing right now is newsworthy. So can we just drop the act of like Barstool loves Barstool?
We can. However, I do want to do one thing.
Okay. Barstool does love Barstool, by the way.
That's fine. We should. The clip of Tim Brewster telling him, stand up, stand tall, we coming, that was goofy as shit.
I did see a lot of
That was goofy.
I did see a lot of former
Cormani's
players.
no longer a 5-star plus.
Yeah, he's like 43 now or something.
A lot of former players were
On
like, you guys
3
know.
has him
that-
as a 4-star.
They laughed at that
They
coach
laughed
as
at
soon
him.
as
They laughed
that
at
was
him,
a little goofy. What?
Yeah, no, Cormani's now a 4-star on 3, so that means he only has 3 of the 4 5-stars from all the rankings, so
Yeah.
he's not a 5-star plus. But consensus, he is a 5-star.
Whatever. That's just, the guy was number 2 in the country until last Tuesday, and after not playing a game, he's now number 46 guy in the country. How
He
they figure
did
these
play
things
a
out?
game. He did play a game.
A game against other all-stars that isn't an actual game.
They didn't change the rankings
Isn't an actual
until
game.
Since October.
Isn't an actual game.
Okay, whatever. It doesn't. We don't have to get into it.
You know what? We don't have to get into it.
We are going to have somebody on at one point, and we are going to.
And I'm telling you, when she goes to have this baby, we're gonna have a recruiting episode where I just have a guy from that world.
Yes,
come.
I've been asking for this.
I'm gonna have it.
Okay.
We're gonna have somebody come, and he's gonna be a recruiting guy, and I'm gonna say the same things to him as I say to you,
Yeah, no, I love it.
and I'll dominate his ass.
I love it.
You gotta.
Love it.
Who are you gonna pick?
What
I
are you
don't
gonna
know,
do?
somebody, whoever.
Fuck it.
God knows every
Tottenham
time.
away.
Every time I talk about him, they DM me. So whichever one DMs me
They
first. I
do
guess.
listen. Shout out to everybody that listens.
Ed Reed.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to that read. I wanted to do the Ole Miss quarterback thing for a second. Ole Miss got 2 transfer quarterbacks in a row. Now, the other day I gushed about it. Again, I like and respect Lane. However, if you're building a team for next year, if I'm looking at Ole Miss, they went 8-5 this year. They lost 5 of their last 6 games. That's not great. And if I look at what was coming back, I thought quarterback was one of the least of their concerns. Like Jackson Dart is only in his true sophomore season. He's only been in the Lane system 1 year. They're already going to throw him out with the bathwater. They're already going to say, you know what, tried him, didn't work, throw him away. Like that's what they're going to do?
I don't know if it's completely throwing him
Oh,
out.
they're
or if
throwing him
it's-
out.
You think that there's
That's
not even a
definitely.
competition?
I don't think
you don't bring Spencer
I
Sanders.
don't-
I agree. I agree
I
that
don't
it
think
looks
Spencer
that way.
Sanders
but
agrees to come to Ole Miss without some sort of promise that he's going to be a starter.
it's probably true.
Spencer
However,
Sanders has 1 year to give to college football now, and he's not going to waste it.
Then if that's the case, why isn't Jackson Dart entered the transfer portal?
I would assume.
I don't
there's-
think he can right now. I think there was a
It
window.
closed.
It closed.
He'll
He
be
will
back
after
open.
spring practice.
So you think that he's automatically in?
Somebody's enter. Yeah, I think he enters after spring practice. Yeah, because
What if it was like a situation where it was like, hey, there's competition.
There's going to be a lot of people that enter after spring practice, by the way.
That's-
But here's the thing.
Transfer portal is not over.
Forget Ole Miss. My name is Spencer Sanders. I've been a 4-year starter at Oklahoma State. I got 1 more year to go. Am I going to go somewhere to compete or somewhere to start? Because he can go to Auburn and start tomorrow. He can go to a lot of places and start tomorrow.
What about the idea of NIL money, though?
No.
No,
There's
they don't have that much.
But A, they don't have that much. B, if I got 1 year left and I got the NFL in my future, hopefully, money isn't going to money might convince me to go start somewhere over somewhere else. Money's not going to convince me to go take compete for a job over starting.
Also, that money, as we've seen, there's not as much money as we think there is. And Ole Miss's collective, which doesn't have that much money, they're decent. They're not going to give that much money to a guy that Lane's saying, oh, yeah, he may
That's
be
why
on
I
the
think
bench.
it's very interesting with Jackson Dart incumbent. He was pretty good, wasn't great, but he's still young.
He was good. I thought he had a decent season.
So now
I
I
was gonna say, he
think
had a
you've
good season.
probably taken a pretty good chunk of your pie and given it to 2 quarterbacks, Spencer Sanders and Walker Howard, who, by the way, left LSU because he didn't want to sit on the bench, and now he's going to go sit on the bench somewhere else. That
was
also
weird. Walker,
But his name is Walker Howard. He should have been at Ole Miss from the get-go. If you got if you got a last name for a first name, you need to go to Ole Miss. You just do.
Walker Howard is a great football name.
That's an Ole Miss name.
It's fantastic.
There-
that's
I
the
guarantee
name
you
of a
that's-
1700
There's 7
or
Sigma Chi's.
1800. Oh, yeah.
There's 7 Sigma Chi's already at Ole Miss named Walker Howard.
And
Walker Howard's a teenage, heartthrob quarterback.
no,
in
president
a
from the
movie.
1800s.
Also that.
Oh, what's his the Walker,
Vice president.
like-
He actually
like
served
Walker
for a
B.
week.
Howard.
Yeah, after somebody got killed, he was the president for a week before somebody else came.
Yeah, he was a bridge president.
Yeah, bridge president. Walker Howard, yep.
Yep.
And the only person that knows that is like some random person on the dozen.
Oh, Walker Howard loved the sauce too.
Love the sauce.
Loved the sauce.
whiskey guy.
Yeah, big whiskey guy.
He almost declared a war on the sauce.
Yeah, he was crazy. Walker Howard, hell of a guy though.
Also
Hell
sounds
of
like
a
a
guy.
guy
He
that
believed in
Yeah.
America.
Had 2 wives.
he invented the vacuum cleaner.
Walker Howard did.
Yeah.
I hope he did because he sucks. That's what I'm gonna.
He
So
just
Walker
again,
Howard-
Brandon just looked at the camera like he was on The Office. The YouTube
Walker
people are
Howard
really
may be
getting
one
a
of
good
these
visual
5-star
today.
quarterbacks that just hasn't.
Well, 5. That's what I want to talk to recruit. 5-star quarterbacks just don't hit at a very high rate.
Yeah, but guess what? First-round quarterbacks don't hit at a high rate. NFL
No,
teams
they don't.
be hitting-
How does quarterback just not get right so much?
Look at-
why does it hit at such a lower level than everything else?
I was about to say, look at the championship games.
So I think 5-star receivers hit it like 80 or 90% clip. Maybe not 100 because Speedy and Oil exist. And
We should ask.
Got to bring up old shit, huh?
That's a good question to ask.
yeah,
These are all predictions. They all don't hit, but
yeah.
quarterback definitely 50-50.
Say it again.
Ed Reed.
Ed Reed.
Ed Reed was going to Bethune-Cookman. Now he's not. They didn't ratify his contract, and he went viral for saying there was trash all over the place, trash here.
And he was
I think it was a community
hinting.
service. He's like, we're picking up trash.
I do wonder about Dion as a star worked perfectly at Jackson State. They got 3 years out of him, 3 or 2.
2.
They got 2 years out of him. You sure?
I'm pretty sure.
They got 2 years out of him.
3 seasons, 2 years. One, the 2021 spring, 2021 fall, 2022 fall.
That's right.
That's
they did play,
yes,
yeah.
that's right. They played
the spring season. Yeah.
Because I was about to say,
So they got 2 years out of Dion, and but it was perfect publicity for the school. It raised their profile. It was great for Jackson State. I feel like hiring a star at the HBCU level is not nearly a guarantee. Like Eddie George was hired at Tennessee State, and it hasn't made a ripple. Who's Grambling coach?
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson. Well, he's a legitimate. Like he's not.
It was an actual coach.
An actual coach, yeah. And now, not to say Dion wasn't coaching before, but now Ed Reed at Bethune-Cookman is just like, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know
Dion-
what to think about this whole situation.
Well, Ed was hinting at things that Dion's was hinting at, that there's massive discussions about HBCU schools and how there are a little bit of, it's like, oh, there's bad things going around here. There's people, like Ed Reed said in his speech to the coach, it was like, there's guys on the board that are just on the board to get paid from the school. Like there's audits of the school that don't add up. And that's what Ed Reed's talking about at Bethune-Cookman, and a lot of people are agreeing. You may remember at Howard's dorms from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like they were like, the students protested it, which was a brilliant thing to do. But Howard's an incredibly well-funded institution. How is there not enough money to then go into like making sure living conditions are better? That's what Ed Reed was talking about with Bethune-Cookman, looking at the trash on the ground. He's out there with his team. He's like, what's going on here? And that's why he keeps saying Deion was right. Deion was right. Deion was right. Deion has hinted at this for a long time. Then a lot of people ask, why don't these massive African-American celebrities come in, like LeBron James? Why doesn't he come in and help Jackson State? Well, there's a lot of discussion behind these HBCU institutions and how there's some things that go on behind closed doors that don't necessarily check out.
Well, and Deion also, when he did the FaceTime with Ed Reed, when he was like, sometimes you just have to walk away. Sometimes you have to walk away. Like, if you read between the lines, you don't even really have to. It's like there's a lot of people that were so pissed that he left Jackson State. Think about all the money that he also put into that that school, everything. That a lot of these guys, I don't know what Ed Reed's financial situation is. I'm sure it's fine.
Probably pretty good.
It's probably pretty good, but it's like a lot of these guys are not going to be going in like Deion did and just throwing their own money to make the program so much better. Deion did that. Now there's this idea out there that it's like, oh, every single former player, star, whatever is going to come in and do that. That's setting a standard that's probably pretty hard to meet, I would assume.
What else was on the list? Do you remember? There's one more thing that we haven't hit. Kendall Briles.
Yep.
Kendall Briles to TCU. I understand the name Briles and what it does to people and what it stirs, and I understand. Now, there's two sides to this. I'm sure nobody was louder when the Briles situation happened than TCU fans. I'm sure they made the Briles family out to be absolute thugs and the worst people ever, and not getting into what Art Briles did and everything. But TCU fans absolutely talked mad shit about it, and it was probably warranted. Then they hired Kendall Briles, and TCU fans all of a sudden
Well, what did Kendall Briles do?
That's a good question. That leads itself into this. Kendall Briles' name has never been linked to anything untoward. It's never been linked to anything. He's never been named in any charge. He's never been named in any report. He's never been named in anything. Kendall Briles' name is just the same as his dad's, and he was an employee of Baylor. He was not.
I think it was linked to the rumors that the whole football program knew was going on, and they were shoving it under the rug.
Well, it looks like that was the institution of
That's
Baylor.
fair enough.
Yes,
but should Kendall Briles not be allowed to work after that? Because he's been working at Arkansas, and nobody really said anything while he was at Arkansas.
I was very loud about it when he was at Florida State. I do think you can't. What is it? You can't judge the son on the sins of his father or whatever. Art Briles, piece of shit. I'm going to stand by that. I don't care. There is an element of, because Baylor is a private school, that a lot of people knew what was going on behind the scenes that wasn't public knowledge because it didn't have to be, and that Kendall Briles is one of those guys. There's also some quotes out there that apparently he was going to recruits and saying hey, do you like white women? There's a ton of white women you can come get in Waco. I don't know if any of that's true or not. I don't think that it's fair to say he's not linked to it at all. However, he is not Art Briles. There is that element there. TCU
I got to ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you think Kendall Briles should be allowed to be the offensive coordinator at TCU?
Yeah. But I do think that it's fair to judge the person. I mean, DJ Durkin has some things in his past. He's one of A&M's.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, of course he does. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, I love DJ Durkin as a human. I do think that if Art Briles is a different story to me. Art Briles absolutely should not be allowed to coach. If Kendall Briles did know that was going on and in any way perpetuated the culture, then he should not. No. If he's been proven that he did not, then he should be able to coach.
We have no evidence. Nothing's ever linked him to it. It's never come down on him.
He was named in a lawsuit, but there was no evidence in the lawsuit. He was more so, like you said, enticing recruits with co-eds, like you can possibly have sex with them, which, by the way, I know this is that's not great, but that happens
everywhere.
And I'm not saying that should be allowed, and I'm not saying, do you love white women? White women at Baylor love black football players here. I'm not saying that's okay, but if that's his crime, then you would not like to see what's going on these recruiting trips.
Ever.
No, it's very hard for me to believe that if Art Briles knew all of that was going on, which I do believe that he did, and we're talking about heinous sex crimes, folks. We're not talking about some bullshit like he was paying for burgers and fries. We don't need to get into the whole Baylor situation. It's disgusting. It's horrible. I have a hard time believing that his son, who was also on his staff, would have been completely blind to the situation. That's where I stand with Kendall Briles. Now, do I think he should never be allowed to coach again? Well, no, because if they haven't proven that he knew that and haven't proven that he helped hide it, then innocent until proven guilty. I just find it really hard to believe that he didn't know what was going on.
But what was going on?
I don't know. We could. This should be
That
another
would be a
hour.
long. Yeah,
All right, we'll end it there.
That's fine.
it is. They did the
Is there a
tweet.
news item I didn't get to?
I just came up across my feed. Michigan's changing the tunnel.
They
Oh,
probably
so where
should
both
change the
teams aren't
tunnel.
going out?
Well, it's the subtext is reportedly plans to remove some seats and will widen the now infamous
That'll
tunnel.
probably help.
Event
Plus,
staff be
And
better.
then
That's
their
it.
offensive coordinator got fired for
Computer
weird
crimes?
computer crimes that hasn't
is that?
really been released yet.
What does that mean?
They didn't really say. They said something happened, like I think at the Bo Schembechler or Schembechler.
Like it doesn't sound like
Schembechler.
computer crimes does not sound like you stole computers, but it also isn't to the extreme of like child.
well,
porn
I
or
mean,
something.
we don't know that
Like-
it
Don't
is or
know.
isn't. We don't know. We just don't know.
But I feel like computer crimes doesn't feel like he stole. Like I think
Hacking.
he did
I think
something on the
he just didn't
computer.
pay for his antivirus, and he continued it anyway.
Do they still have that?
So
don't know.
computer, it does sound very like, oh, whatever, but they fired him.
And I gotta look up what a computer crime example.
It
would be.
usually would be if you went and changed my password and then went on to like delete emails from me or something to try to hide something like
That
that.
happened to me
app-
one
Oh,
time.
it says a computer may have been used in committing a crime and maybe a target. It's a cyber crime. So it's like maybe he hid something up from a computer.
I mean, that almost sounds sarcastic. If I'm guessing what computer crimes is it, and Wikipedia says it's a computer that was used in a crime. Oh, no shit.
Harassment, ransomware, prostitution, phishing,
All right, I gotta go.
intellectual property theft, account hacking, drug trafficking.
And that's all the pleasant things we talk about on this show. Brandon Walker, Casey, yada yada yada. That's Unnecessary Roughness.